address the recent controversy. No, I figured it's better to go late night now. I've been getting better views kind of late night, and kind of the energy late at night I think is kind of good. Maybe I should. I was doing laundry, and I've been kind of trying to dedicate a certain amount of my time to writing specifically. Okay, yeah. So I've enabled the chat, which honestly was a mistake. I wish I could just do the chat. Good night, Ashley. I wish I could just do the chat like we're taking calls. I wish I could flick the chat on and off because there are definitely certain things I'd like to address. The chat could be a distraction. I'm not sure. Somebody in my YouTube comments said, "quote unquote," I will never have an audience unless I enable the chat. So here goes. I'm taking the notes from the network. These are talk pieces. They're meant to be digested at your leisure, like a podcast. I'm just too lazy to podcast. Apparently, men with microphones are the enemy. You'll notice I do not have a microphone. I'm just, okay, what is, yeah, good night, Ashley. We're going to address the recent contract. Not that there is. It's like wrestling, your life is a part of the show. You don't know what's real. You can't break kayfabe. Is it a shoot? Is it a work? Who knows? National Poetry Month just roared into existence last night. It was a great show, I gotta say. I think there was really some strong performances. I don't know. We're trying to make as much magic as we can. We're lucky to get very talented people, and Ashley, you're in poetry jail. Ashley is being has to be disciplined. She cannot act out in this way. She cannot act out in this way. It's unacceptable. Um, no, I will not do that on my live stream. I'm not gonna do it. You have to be disciplined. I'm not being. Oh my god! I knew I should not have turned the chat on. Oh boy. Okay. I'll just ignore the chat. There's only one person watching. Who could it be? Oh god. Anyway, so yeah, I've been writing. I got this Luke oh, fuck. See, I'm all distracted. Lewis Mason got me this beautiful blank notebook. I think from McNally Jackson about blanks. How dope is that? I'm just gonna call my book About Blanks. It's my next book, About Blanks. Ashley has literally messaged me probably hundreds, if not thousands of times today. You see what I have to go through. Everybody sees it. You're scaring the audience away. People do not want to see this drama play out in front of them. You're costing daddy money, okay? You're costing daddy money, okay? It's important. Daddy has to get paid. Unfortunately, I've narrowed my life down to this kind of ridiculously small objective. Ashley, I'm in the middle of my live stream. We all love Ashley, don't we? We love Ashley, okay? Good night, Ashley. The royal we. We love you, Ashley. You're not gonna go to sleep. Ashley's not gonna go to sleep. Oh, okay. I love you, Ashley. Good night. It's WrestleMania this weekend. I can't wait. I've got the weekend off from Ashley. By the grace of God, somehow I get a few 2 weeks vacation. And, oh yeah, but tomorrow. Oh god. So anyway, I've got this major. I think I have maybe I don't know. I've got a serious kind of problem in my. I think I've got a lower ear thing. I puked last Friday in Rockaway Beach on the sidewalk. I've been getting kind of dizziness, nausea. So I think I do have to see a dentist. Unfortunately, I have to work for the next 2 days. So, like a good American, I'm just trying to power through it and play injured. Like a WWE superstar. What would Stone Cold Steve Austin do? he would play hurt, you know. He didn't even have health insurance. He's eating potatoes and tuna fish, and then he runs out of tuna fish. So, you know, choices are real. Wrestling is an analogy to the pain and suffering of competitive whatever you're into. In my case, poetry. I think it's a pretty good parallel to sort of po-biz and the poetry scene. And just reaching for the gold. You know, everybody wants the belt. And, you know, sometimes the fates are with you, but sometimes you got to admit you're a mid-card jobber like me. Maybe I'm just mid-card. Maybe I'm a mid-card jobber. Actually, the reason I didn't use the crowd shot is because the other shot was simply better, okay? There was more people. For some reason at the open mic, people have been showing up later. At around 9:30 or 10, we become kind of like the late evening, which is cool. I like that. I think people go to other stuff. They go to Bowery Poetry Club, or they go to, you know, Inspired Word. Mike, they're cheating on me with Mike Geffner. I know you've been seeing Mike Geffner, okay? I've seen you on the Inspired Word posters. He dangles these featured acts in front of you. And I don't know. The thing that drives me nuts about Inspired Word is he gets his money up front. That's a mistake that I made. And Thumbnator, oh my God, who is this? Who is taking Ashley's side? Who is this? I can't believe I'm getting bullied in my own comment section. This is outrageous. I knew I should have kept them off. I knew I should have kept the comments off. See, this is what's ruined civilization, is the comment section. Now anybody can just hide behind a fucking keyboard and just act like they're big because they're running their fucking mouth. Okay? It's harder to get out here and do it night after night, week in and week out when you're not a superstar, okay? When you didn't win the fucking... When you didn't get a big push when you were 23, okay? Daddy never got his push. I had to take the dive for the short end money. They said, kid, it ain't your night. I could have had class. I could have been instead of a bum, which is what I am. Let's face it. Look at my shit's all over the place. I'm living out of goddamn boxes here. So anyway, yeah, I never got a push. Ashley's getting a huge push. Daddy got buried. You know, the thing that comes up over and over again with these wrestlers is they cannot get ahead in WWF. They have to leave WWF. And then they become superstars. They can't get ahead in WCW. Hogan will not step aside. These people are older and in the way. And now I'm getting some positives. Thank you, guys. See, I love my community. It's all about building an online community. Don't you guys feel like you're a part of the community? My followers? You're my subscribers. You're my audience. Bow. Follow. It's sick. It's a sickness. It's weaponized narcissism. Your aura, what does that mean? Our aura is weak? It is a rough time astrologically, okay? I don't know. Pluto entered Aquarius. For the last 15 years, it's been in Capricorn. Apparently, that's why the Kardashians are famous. Because it's been all about wealth and I don't even know what. But now it's in Aquarius, so it's a time of revolution. Okay, so I want to talk about the fourth turning. Apparently, we're in the fourth turning. I don't know if people know what this theory is, but apparently history repeats in 80-year cycles, which would make sense because everything's a vibration, right? It's all vibrational, apparently. You just have to raise your vibration, whatever the fuck that means. I'm sick of hearing about, oh, I got to be with high vibe people. What does this mean? How does one raise one's vibration? Apparently, I'm on the angry Irish vibration, and I'm loving it. But a lot of people are not on that vibration. People want a peaceful vibration or like a more chill vibration. Alex Jones, oh great, I'm on the same fucking... Maybe I should get off TikTok. If I'm espousing the same theories as... I did not fact check this or anything. But apparently everything's a vibration. So it would make sense that history is cycles. So apparently there are 4 20-year cycles. There's a period of, birth, whatever, the rock and roll era, up until about the 60s. Then there's a period of progressive social change, kind of bounty, whatever. then there, I don't know. And now obviously we're in like the worst part of the cycle. The fourth turning is the worst part of it. It's like the death part of the cycle, I guess, where the system kind of decomposes before our very eyes. But it's a revolution. We have to put something better in. Apparently, there's a Civil War movie coming out with Kirsten Dunst. I celebrate Kirsten Dunst. I think she is a great one of the last movie stars. She's one of the good millennial things that happened. I will always. I'm a Kirsten Dunst stan. I saw Kirsten Dunst once on 7th and A in 2008 before New York became a big fucking Citibank lobby full of illegals. Full of illegals living off our debit cards issued by Mayor Adams directly. I saw Kirsten Dunst on 7th and A right in front of Niagara, and it was the greatest moment of my life. That was peak indie sleaze for me. And it was all, then Pluto entered Capricorn, and it's been just like a shitty narcissistic social media contest ever since, where it's just people are weaponizing their own mirrors. Hold on, I'm a video DJ, I'm a VJ, so I gotta play some videos for everybody, okay? Just let me cue this up real fast. Have I played this vlog? Maybe I'll play this vlog. I don't know if we've seen this. We can always revisit it. It's memories. It's all about precious memories, everybody. So, yeah. The fourth turning. We're fucked, basically. That's what it means. I mean, well, I don't know. It's up to us. I mean, Gen Z gives me hope. They have a lot of energy. She used the Weezer. Oh, yeah. How did the Andy Warhol play go? Ashley was in an Andy Warhol play in Ira Silverberg's class, right? That's his name, right? Sounds like an amazing class. I like hearing about it just secondhand. This play sounded cool. I encourage people to stage their own plays. You know, skits. Skits are fantastic. Do your own skits, even if you're adults. What have we got? We have nothing. We're not going to have children. We are children. They're keeping us in arrested development. That's why wrestling is coming back. Did you notice wrestling got good again? That's because Pluto entered Aquarius and Vince McMahon shit on that person. Well, not because of that, but Vince McMahon is gone, so wrestling has gotten like it's obvious wrestling totally could be good. It's just had stale ideas for a long time. Vince McMahon's held. I tried to watch Mania a few years ago. It had to have been one of the worst ones. It was the one that Sting was at, and they buried Sting. They had Sting jobbed at Triple H. It was a humiliation ritual. Absolutely, it was totally banal. But like, it makes sense that wrestling would get super cinematic. Like that's the era we live in. It's the evolution, and they just got bought by Endeavor, right? Which is a talent agency. It's Ari Emanuel or something, right? It's like, it's Hollywood, basically. So it's like, I mean, wrestling in the idiocracy that we live in is a huge, I mean, it's only getting bigger. The Rock is the biggest movie star in The Rock is such a big movie star that it's like acceptable that like Batista and John Cena are also like acceptable movie stars. Like John Cena's at the fucking Oscars. That was a humiliation ritual. Does Alex Jones say humiliation ritual? Am I just getting all these like horrible terms through the Chinese propaganda app? Well, I don't know. Thank you for watching. So yeah, shall we talk about? That's all I have to say about the fourth turning. I mean, I guess I don't know. Like, write your poetry. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing, gathering in person. I am scared that they're going to zap the electrical grid. I am, like, paranoid that the electrical grid in this country will go out because we would be super fucked. Alex Jones coined humiliation. Now you're just trolling me. There's no way that that's true. There's no way Alex Jones coined humiliation ritual. I don't know. I mean, I don't buy this thing where it's like they put you in a dress and it's like, oh, that's a humiliation. That's not what I mean when I say humiliation ritual. But I do think there are certain things, definitely things that Vince McMahon does to people that are like satanic humiliation rituals. And so it's good that he's gone. I'm excited. I don't want to be like a wrestling nerd and make this like into a wrestling. Although I do think Jim Cornette is the funniest thing on the internet. If people don't watch Cornette or listen to Cornette's podcast, get into Cornette. He is the funniest person on the internet. I swear to God. He's the last kind of true hillbilly. He's the last kind of local. I I don't know if I want to believe in a bunch of conspiracy theories, although I guess I've been pilled or something, maybe in a certain way recently. I'm not into all of the conspiracy theories, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the power of the hypnotism of the app, but it's weird how it's coinciding with real life. You will see them talk about Dan Schneider on fucking TikTok, and then all of a sudden it's like, or Puff Daddy or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're actually getting federally prosecuted, or it's like, okay, well, fuck, maybe there is some truth to this stuff. I don't know. Apparently the Puff Daddy thing is a setup. He's getting fucking, he's the patsy for Clive Davis or something. I don't even fucking know, but uh it is kind of weird that I remember the first time I came to New York in 2004. Um, it was around the time that like Puff Daddy was on MTV and The Apprentice was on. And I hate to say it, but like, that was like New York iconography, was those people. So to find out that they're completely toxic kind of gatekeepers or whatever is not surprising. And it goes deep. So I don't know. Who knows? The Epstein thing is real. Not that I want to make this completely about that. I didn't necessarily have like an agenda about anything I wanted to talk about. I've mostly just been paranoid about my tooth rotting in my face. And trying to just maintain doing what I have to do. And so wrestling is like an escape. It's all about escapism, I guess. Watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. I should talk about that. The last. Thank you for watching, Adam. Peace. You're the man. Thank you for being a part of this community and part of the online brand. Isn't this exciting to be? No, we love you. Thank you for watching. I'm not gonna go back and read the chat. You're working 9 more minutes. Okay, I will entertain you. Thank you. That's what we're here to do. We're micro influencers, okay? We have our little audience. I get about 20 clicks on anything I post. My poetry reading literally got 20 views. I'm very disappointed. No one gives a fuck about my poetry. Apparently, John Sinclair died. I'm not really familiar with John Sinclair. I think he was in the MC5. That's how much I know about him. John Lennon, I think, wrote the completely toxic wife beater. John Lennon. Canceled. I do think one of the reasons why I had John Lennon night, and I learned my lesson, I trolled with my theme nights, and I think I cursed myself. The John Lennon night was cursed, but I do think John Lennon gets a little bit of a bad rap. I mean, he's not as bad as he's made out to be. It's like he encouraged a lot of peace and love, and that stayed with people. He was a tender person. You can just tell in his music. I don't know. I'm an apologist, I guess. I'm an abuser apologist because I'm so traumatized and dissociated. I just live. Good night, Ashley. Do not block the chat with more of your emotional blackmail, okay? I don't want this drama to play out in front of my community. Okay? I cannot have people think. Did you know that there was a meme? There was a sort of a Dimes Yarvin adjacent meme. They said Martyr was right. Of course the black-pilled Urbit people. Who's the other guy? Peter Thiel Money. Of course they are on team. We're trying to just keep the spirit of human celebration alive and the fun alive. Jesus Christ, man. People are just determined to not have any goddamn fun anymore. They're so judgmental. I mean, granted, we are in a fucking, Ashley, I love you, okay? Please let me just try to garner what little of a shred of a reputation I have left. People think I'm completely toxic. Whatever is going on, they think it's bad and it's toxic. This age gap abuse, whatever is happening. This, it's clearly I am some kind of age gap. I don't even know, man child or something. In any case, I just speaking my truth, okay? They blew a hole right in my fucking 30s. My life ended when I was 31 years old. We've been just trying to make do ever since by screaming our heads off about the insanity of the panic of how they are drowning all of us alive like a fucking litter of kittens that they don't want. They tied us in a bag and threw us in the fucking river. That's what they're doing to us right now. We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off. It's wrestling. It's Jim Carrey movies, okay? That's what life is about. I don't know. Poetry. I love poetry. What was I reading recently? I have been trying to read. I mean, fuck. There was something I wanted to talk about. Some kind of... Oh, yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm. I wanted to talk about... That's what I've been reading. I've been reading Curb... I think Larry David... They all play Wordle and shit. There's always phrases in that show that are like poem titles. COVID hoarder. Non-fungible... What was it? Fungible citrus. It's a fungible citrus. Like, that's a pretty highly fucking intelligent guy. That's a literary guy. I think Larry David would sit at the Algonquin Round Table. I mean, there's a lot of problematic kind of politics in it, but he goes out of his way. This season feels like the DNC. I mean, did I hallucinate the Bruce Springsteen episode? Was that real? I feel like I hallucinated that. The future creates the past, apparently, and all we have is the now. Which is, a funhouse mirror that we're stuck in. The bend of. But Springsteen, was that real? That actually happened. When does the Biden episode come out? When does Larry give Biden a blowjob? Larry loves to... I mean, this show is so political. I love it this season. He's handing out water. He's giving head to... people of color. It's incredible. He is really super progressive. I'm loving it. It's like the DNC is like a fucking... I cannot wait for the Obama cameo. And it's star-studded as fuck. I gotta say, Springsteen is a better actor than Conan. Springsteen completely nailed it, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm a little bit of a boss mark. TikTok is showing me these very low view count Springsteen videos. It's pathetic how Springsteen underperforms on TikTok. People do not like Springsteen at all. They think his voice sucks. And to be honest, is Springsteen just a bro? Is he just a mediocre white guy, bro? To be honest, he can't sing. His songs, are they really that good? Are they really that... I mean, like, any white guy... I mean, I see thousands of white men who are songwriters who could write Bruce Springsteen songs. Not that I don't love Bruce Springsteen, but I think it was a bottleneck. It was a bottleneck. There's probably Bruce Springsteens all over this country. But he was... No, I'm kidding. I'm roasting him. He's like an American... So I've been listening to him sort of a little bit, because, good God, I wasted a lot of my youth listening to Bruce Springsteen. I think it is programming. It's like Catholic, masochistic work. Like, he shifted to like this working boss factory fucking... Okay, I want to talk about Prince's Vault. This was Get Me Out of Poetry Jail. Okay. We will free you from fucking poetry jail. That's what I do, okay? We liberate people. That's what we fucking do. If you will, I guarantee you, within 6 months of knowing me, you will start an open mic. I fucking promise you. And you should. I think that this is the fucking revolution. This is the poetry renaissance. We are creating a show business of poetry and a circuit. And it's already happened. I'm not really a huge part of it, but I'm like, kind of over there on the tree somewhere. But anyway, Curb is like the... Yeah, so Springsteen, he really got the tenor of the humor, I think, in a way that Conan did not really get at all. Conan was okay. They all looked old as fuck, to be honest. It's kind of, they're all old. I mean, Richard Lewis looks like he's about to die. I mean, God bless him. I think Larry is using his magic to try to help people with this season. And he's insuring himself with all these celebrity cameos. It's like Steve Buscemi plays a fucking guy who's got a colostomy bag. Oh, wait, no, he doesn't. I mean, is Steve Buscemi being typecast as somebody who looks sickly? Larry is very good at casting. That's something that if you go all the way back to Seinfeld, it's like he is really good at casting, and there's themes. He really casts like women actresses, like Lori Loughlin is in the fucking episode. Lori Loughlin kind of sends up her own image in kind of a crazy way that I'm not sure is totally successful. She just actually kind of looks nuts, but it's good casting. It's all about his golf club and his membership and the fucking Disgruntled. No spoilers. We won't give any spoilers about who Disgruntled is, but it's not Larry. So, I don't know, the continuing misadventures. I'm late to the... the show has been on forever. What the fuck is going on that now every TV show lasts 30 fucking years? But, I remember watching it in fucking high school, probably. You know, I remember when Seinfeld was on, hearing about who Larry David was, pictures of him barely even existed. You couldn't just, like... He was kind of the person behind it, but you thought Jerry was the... That's why there's all this revisionist Seinfeld judgment. People shit all over Jerry Seinfeld in the comment section. Because Curb Your Enthusiasm is really the same fucking show. I mean, there's so many recurring... Like, this thing where he gets arrested in Georgia is exactly what happened in the Seinfeld finale. You know, they get fucking arrested when they're out of town or whatever. And it's like... It's interesting, but that's, I guess, probably what all of us do. We just kind of write the same thing over and over and over again without... I mean, that's what's kind of interesting about that show lasting so long, is it's based on his life, and enough time has gone by that he probably forgot things that he did in earlier seasons. And so there's a lot of similar gags about all-you-can-eat buffets and, like... Oh, you ate too much at the fucking all-you-can-eat buffet, or how much do you tip? What do I give this guy? And, you know, oh, I flipped him the keys. Everything is about service. It's all about him trying to feel not guilty about using a service economy, basically. How much do I tip the cleaning lady? And it goes in the toilet or whatever. So he's obsessed with, you know, kind of alleviating his own guilt or whatever. But he's trying to be a good person. He's got Bruce Springsteen on the fucking show. I don't think Springsteen is really done. I mean, I guess he was on that Lilyhammer show, but I'm sorry to talk about the lamest thing in the world, Bruce Springsteen. This is for Chris Christie and all the other dads out there, but I'm a Springsteen dad. I grew up listening to Springsteen. When I worked at Strader's Garden Center for 6 months, I thought I lived in a Bruce Springsteen's. I wanted to be Rosalita. I wanted to live that fucking song and be in a band that could just play Rosalita. I mean, doesn't everybody? And I tried so hard to make Audible Detonation the E Street Band. It was so misguided and pathetic. There was no way that was ever going to happen. It was so insane and wrong. We played that song Crush on You in the basement at Bernie's Bagels. I played bass. It sounded like a Kiss song. Kiss, Zach, I'm not sure, could actually play guitar in any kind of, like, fluid way. Chip had an imagination, so I'm sure what he was doing was super interesting. But, it wasn't like having a horn section. I wanted a horn section, basically. It was never going to happen. I think that's one of the things that's interesting about Springsteen's band now, is it's like he's trying to put America on stage. His band is just fucking huge. He's trying to put this hopeful kind of family. People die. Danny Federici dies. The big man dies. And then they got, like, the big man's nephew or whatever. So the fucking train keeps rolling. The money machine. The Springsteen Live Ego Giant Stadium. We got to rock the fucking Giant Stadium 40 nights. I got to be on Broadway. Springsteen, I dare you to come to fucking Red Room. I think I want to hear some tracks. I want to hear a Sad Eyes. Can you play Sad Eyes? And I want to hear Rock Away the Days, Rock Away the Nights. Well, it's like Max's Kansas City, right? Springsteen was kind of discovered by David Bowie. His early shit is super interesting. He's super wild instrument. His band is like, funky and... So, yeah, David Bowie covered It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City or whatever. I don't know. I'll get off Springsteen. Anyway, so yeah, Curb, they all look like they're dying. God bless Richard Lewis. He looks like he can barely get through the scenes. But I'm glad he's there. I mean, it's like a vlog. That was the vision. That's why it's important to talk about Larry David and why you can talk about him almost on terms like Scorsese or Kubrick. I mean, these guys are in his show. Who the fuck was the director? He had some director this season. I forget who it was, but he had Scorsese on earlier. Now what? Was there making some movie with some famous director in the fucking show? I can't remember who it was. But it's like, his vision, he got closer and closer to reality way before all of those fucking single camera sitcoms and Modern Family, all that shit. It all kind of takes from Curb Your Enthusiasm. And it's almost like a vlog. It's so close to his fucking life. And it's an improv, right? That's the other thing that's kind of amazing about it. Is like it was innovative, but it was strictly utilitarian. You couldn't, he's not trying to be some kind of pretentious performance. Although I do think that this season kind of goes to performance artist lengths. I think it's interesting that he throws Tracy Ullman in there. He throws these different kind of comedy in. And it really works, actually. He knows that if you just throw kind of a bunch of brilliant people into a scene, it actually is kind of amazing. He's got Tracy Ullman who's like playing a character with like a fucking wig. And so she's like deeply in character. And then you've got like, John Hamm or fucking Albert Brooks playing himself. You got J.B. Smoove, which is a whole different kind of... To me, J.B. Smoove is the best part of the show. Him and Susie, I would say, are the most consistent of the supporting cast. Jeff just looks like dead inside. He looks like he is phoning it in. I don't know if that Goldberg show just runs his ass ragged, but apparently he's done 200 episodes of this fucking Goldberg show, and it's in syndication, all this, but it's like, he looks dead inside the last couple seasons of fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm. I don't know if it's because he got canceled or what. But he's kind of the straight man. He doesn't have an easy job. But, I mean, he just looks tired. And, like, he's just kind of... He doesn't look... Richard Lewis looks great. I mean, he's in the fucking scenes. It's crazy. Every scene he's in a golf cart or he's in a car. Who the fuck else was in it? Oh, Vince Vaughn, right? That's another kind of comedy entirely. You got Vince Vaughn running his fucking mouth. Although it makes sense. He kind of looks like Funkhauser. I mean, you can't replace Funkhauser. Funkhauser was kind of the funniest guy. Bob Einstein is kind of the funniest guy in the world. Super Dave, he's kind of the funniest guy in the world. So it's hard to replace that. But Larry David pushes some shit. His performances, he kind of relies on his catchphrases. They love that kind of recurring shit. That thing where they do the stare down. And his pretty good thing kind of, I don't know. He pushes it a little bit. But he has some amazing, that scene where you work behind the desk at a hotel. Nice. I think that's a great job, like working in a hotel at night. I mean, not that I want to have a job, but you could do like fucking writing maybe and shit there, hopefully. You can watch the live stream. You can get the subversive niche entertainment, super micro-influencing. The guests, I'm influencing. What kind of hotel is it, if I may ask? Do you not want to expose that on the internet and get swatted by my huge fan base? You're going to get so fucking bombed. 11 West Coast. All right, chill. So we're live on the West Coast. Thank you for tuning in. We're just exposing all of the truth. This is what Pluto and Aquarius is about. This is what the fourth turning is about. Exposing all the hypocrites. The truth comes out. Hollywood, the fall of Hollywood. West Coast Marriott, baby. Hell yeah, we're in some high-end fucking shit here. We're probably talking to business class assholes who get complimentary New York Times every day. Sons of bitches with nice, big, warm, cushy beds with 600 Egyptian cotton count, thread count sheets. Just big duvets. Just big, heavenly duvets. Big, fluffy, cuddly, heavenly duvets. And they're just in these big, warm duvets like it's the fucking Tauntaun. And I know the culture is degenerated that we have to communicate in Star Wars references. This is what people love and appreciate is fandom, comic book universes, fictional Lord of the Rings envelopment. Duvet, get under the Marriott business class duvet and read your New York Times and pay $55 for room service. I need to see a dentist. Apparently the anesthesia is extra. I don't know. Oh my God! Can you expose the secrets of the Illuminati? Are you near Bohemian Grove? Have you been to Bohemian Grove? I mean, have you seen the owl ceremony or whatever the fuck it is? We're exposing here on YouTube before they ban us. The humiliation rituals. It's the fourth turning, everybody. Oh my God! I've been Alex Jones pilled. How did this happen to me? I think TikTok is, I don't know, maybe I should cancel. I'm canceling my... The thing is, it's all about 3 screens, okay? You gotta have your TikTok, you gotta have your laptop, you gotta have your flat screen. They all have to be going to just... We have to be hyper learning about everything. We have to be hyper vigilant about the situation as it's happening. In the, the bridge collapse, quote unquote. Yeah, right. You saw it. No, everything is thin. Look at our clothes. Look at the quality of everything. Oh, I lost all my viewers. I lost all my viewers because they went too conspiracy. I'll just talk about poetry. It's National Poetry Month. I did a sort of poetry. No, the poets don't give a fuck. They don't come anymore. The stand-up comedians, I don't know. It's KGB Bar. The thing is, okay, there is a poetry open mic once or twice a month in the same room that I do an open mic. And so I would love to have poets come out every week, but I also I don't want to compete with them. And if you go back and watch my live streams from a year ago, I say a lot of things to the effect that, like, it's not about me going out and dominating everything. I think it's beautiful that it's generative and it's like spore. People start their own ecosystems and their own mics and their own, taking it into their own hands. Why not? It should be women starting mics and, strippers starting mics. Shout out to Natalie. We love Natalie. The greatest, it's like... Everybody should start book readings, book mics. Share the love, share the mic, Everybody gets to say and we're exchanging, these new community. We're moving back into the tribal kind of, the tribal chief and all that shit. Roman Reigns. What the fuck is all that about? Do you think Paul Heyman's sincere when he says that Roman Reigns... You want to get fired from the Marriott. Should you do something grand? I mean, I'm not like a red-pilled guy, but what would I do if I was you? Do some kind of Fight Club thing. I don't know. Now I'm going to get arrested for encouraging some kind of wingnut on the West Coast to do something insane. This live streamer incited terrorist action. Oh, boy. I can't even say that probably on YouTube. The fucking AI will probably go in and scrub that and be like, oh my God, we have to shadow ban this truth teller shaman out of New York, out of this obscure part of New York with a micro audience. What should you do? Audience, anybody want to chime in? Let this guy know what he should do to quit his job. I mean, I would do some kind of class warfare. I mean, not really, but like, some kind of situationist, like, publicity stunt. Speak truth to power. Let these people know that they're your class enemy, and I don't know, try to exact some kind of equality out of them. That's terrible advice. Just do an open mic in the lobby. Here you go. Can you blast my live stream like on the side of a fucking building? Can you blast me? Can you pipe me into everybody's hotel room? Is there some kind of closed circuit where I can get a live into everybody in the Marriott's hotel? I'll get you fired. We will get you fired. Somehow. We'll talk about more conspiracies. We will, yeah, so if you could pipe us into the direct feed. I mean, we are basically in the lobby, so we're an influence. They're hearing our subversive radio. This is Radio Midwood, baby. This is anarchist poetry radio. Oh yeah, some people might be wondering. I'm not surprised, but I'm actually I'm encouraged. People keyed into the Michael C. Ford last night. So one of the fun things I've been doing with the open mic recently, it's fun for me being a former wedding DJ. I've been DJing the first hour of cocktail hour, So this month I'm playing all poetry music. So I've been playing, Allen Ginsberg. I played how to be playing the jukebox. What else? Shit. Like Jim Carroll, people who died, like poetry bands. And so one of my favorite, and it's kind of this hidden, album. This guy, I did an open mic a few years ago in LA, Beyond Baroque, and the featured act was this guy, Michael C. Ford, who I didn't know at the time. I think he likes to keep a low profile, honestly. But he was an incredible poet. I mean, you could just tell from his reading. And this guy, it turns out, Ashley found Michael C. Ford. I know you found goddamn Michael C. Ford. I'm going to talk about it anyway. Ashley, love you. I don't want to look like a toxic a man here. So anyway, Michael C. Ford has this incredible... He went to college with the Doors. He was in poetry class, Jack Hirschman's poetry class at UCLA with Jim Morrison and Ray Manzarek, and I don't know if John Densmore or Robbie Krieger, maybe one of them was in the class. Or I think maybe Michael C. Ford was friends with them, and that's how they connected. But anyway, that they were all friends, basically, before the Doors became... Good, Ashley. I encourage people to use the YouTube videos to pull the videos and repost them. Tag us in the reels. Make us a partner in the reel. I'm trying to post more reels. So anyway, they asked Michael C. Ford to be the bass. This is all true, by the way. I'm not making this up. This is actually, I didn't hallucinate the Springsteen Curb episode. I may have hallucinated this. Who knows? He was supposed to be... They asked him to be the bass player in the Doors. Of course, the Doors famously have no... oh, no shit. There you go. Who was that? Yeah, you're on the West Coast. You might even know... You probably even know who this guy is. He's kind of known, or he does gigs and stuff. He's great, He kind of keeps it local in a cool way. But he said, get a bass, keyboard or whatever and play that. So that's what they did. So he's kind of the phantom bass player of the Doors. He came to New York. Apparently, the first poetry reading he ever did was in New York City. Jim Morrison was supposed to read at something. And they asked him, hey, do you want to go up? And he'd never done a poetry reading before. And Jim Morrison was standing behind him and kind of patted him on the back or pushed him and said, hey, yeah, man, go read your stuff. And he did. That was the first poetry reading he ever did in New York City. So he did an album. Of course, Jim Morrison died, but he did an album. The remaining Doors did this album with him. If you look at it, they're all on the fucking album, which is kind of crazy because it's very, contemporary, futuristic sounding music for that time. It was very forward sounding. It's very, computered out. It sounds like fucking Myst or something. It sounds like some kind of fucking, computer graphics from, the late 90s, early 2000s. And it doesn't sound like the Doors at all. You can kind of tell if you listen for that. You can kind of tell he's the piano and stuff, but it's very interesting soundscape. And he just reads his poetry over it. So it's basically the fucking Doors. It's Ray Manzarek, Robbie Krieger, John Densmore, and I think some other people. And then Michael C. Ford reads his poetry over it. And it's a great album. I think it's called Looking You in the Ears or something like that. This is going to be a controversial take, but I do want to go on the record as saying this. I do think Jim Morrison was good at poetry. Maybe that's like a tell that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and my brain is just fried by drugs. And I am like sympathetic to, like, I don't know, kind of beat tendency. You have to look at poetry sort of more for what it is. I would say that Jim Morrison is a figure. He's a part of that kind of like Dionysian, William Blake kind of song. If like Allen Ginsberg's fucking Songs of Experience album, Songs of Innocence, Songs of Experience. He's like in that kind of tradition, this kind of Apollonian whatever. Did I contradict it? I don't know. Negative capability, people. Ashley lectured on us on it. Well, she nailed it. So it's like a lot of it is about sound. He's writing in a different style. He doesn't sound like contemporary work of what we, he does not sound like Elizabeth Bishop or kind of canonical. He doesn't sound like very written poetry from academic where like all they have is the page necessarily. But if you listen to what he's saying, and if you listen to the lyrics, even of the Doors, a lot of them, they're very interesting. And they are little poems, rhyme and song is not, and this is something that I think we've highlighted pretty well actually in the last few months of the open mic, is like, that's a big part of poetry. Contemporary academic poetry does not really rhyme that much. And the Doors don't even necessarily rhyme that much. But something like 5 to 1, 1 to 5, no one here gets out alive. This is the end, my only friend, the end. I mean, I think we gotta all relate to that song. I think people in other countries where they have more of an appreciation of poetry appreciate the Doors. And the Doors sound incorporates kind of other... It's a more sophisticated sound than a lot of the rock bands. Light My Fire it's like a flamenco song. John Densmore. These guys liked Coltrane. They were into, they were jazz players in a lot of ways. And there's blues in there. I like the way they play the blues. A lot of the hipper kind of older 60 guys like to shit on the Doors and like make fun of the way that they play the blues or something, but I actually really think the Doors are one of the better American white blues bands. If you ask me, I think Jim Morrison really lived that fucking role, and he was kind of a jester, theater. They were all theater. He's a theater kid. To shit all over him in the kind of judgment Olympics of modern social media. He's a theater kid. He wore leather pants and he had kind of like Orpheus hair. He got torn to shreds by life because he was so golden god. He just vibrated too fucking high. He vibrated too close to the sun, man. He vibed too close to the sun. Oh, I gotta do 2 hours, everybody. I mean, I wanted to go late because I know the audience is late. I know they're my night owls, the night people. Creatures of the night. The riders on the storm. They're up after midnight, okay? Those are my people. It's Fritz the Night Owl here. We're vodcasting to the hippest of the hip on planet Earth. We got viewers at a Marriott in the fucking West Coast. We're getting real about the Doors, okay? And Larry David. And the DNC and the fourth turning and humiliation rituals. They killed Jim Morrison, okay? The CIA, the mafia are in cahoots. The record companies knew he was worth more dead than alive. Yeah, I think if you look who he hung out with, they were poetry nerds. That wasn't an affectation. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm really into Howl, man. I dig poetry, man. I'm like so into fucking like Richard Siken. No, we love Richard Sykin, okay? We are pro Richard Sykin here. I want to go on the record, we're pro Richard Sykin. I'm not that pro Richard Sykin, but he's okay. He's a poet. The thing is, there's a lot of people who can get invited to the poetry table. And Jim Morrison is one of them. He lived like a poet. If you look at Michael McClure, I think Michael McClure is Michael McClure. Not everybody gets invited to the poetry table, okay? There's different poetry tables. There's a kids table, there's an adults table in the poetry world, okay? There's a round table, there's an Algonquin table. I just got the King Arthur Algonquin reference. I never got that before. It's a round table, right? It's the Algonquin round table. So theoretically, they're knights of the round table. And so are we. So too are we. Knights of the Red Room table. Anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? Jim Morrison, man. The fucking Doors. Yeah, so it's an esoteric sound, but you have to. Michael McClure, right? I think is one of the greatest poets of the last half of the, whatever. And he talks about him and Jim Morrison. Would go on poetry tours of Paris and London and San Francisco, whatever. It's like that's what poets do. That's what Jim Morrison did. He lived his life that way. He read fucking Rimbaud. He fucking read poetry. These guys studied poetry. Like, it wasn't an accident they were the fucking Doors. The problem is people are not susceptible to that magic. You do maybe have to be a little bit naive and maybe fry your brains on drugs. I don't know. When I was more uptight, I did not like the Doors. I did not like the Beats. All through college, I was trying to prove how academic, how smart I was, how literary I was. I had some kind of fantasy about what you have to be a serious writer. And maybe to some degree, these poets' work is about undoing all of that. I don't know. It is more in life and kind of like in touch with some kind of campfire, ride the snake, yeah, I mean, I like Charles Bukowski too, while we're fucking canceling ourselves with our bad taste. Like I said, a lot of people are invited to the poetry table, I think fucking Charles Bukowski, he's not necessarily John Wieners, but he's not that different, actually, I don't think. Charles Bukowski is very easy to read. There's something to be said for that. That's not easy to do. To make something that is that plain spoken and that simple to read, and yet it's kind of mind-blowing, and he was the king of the small magazines. Bukowski is another person who's kind of a pop culture figure, but he lived his life just like any other poet, submitting his fucking poems to magazines. He was the king of the small magazines because he got accepted a lot of fucking places. I don't spend all my fucking day reading Charles Bukowski, but I would definitely be lying if I didn't have I definitely have a misguided, there's definitely like a misguided Bukowski strain in my identity and my character that I kind of live in my life and in my poetry. And it's an LA thing, it's a working class thing. I think to some degree, LA is a better place for working class poets, actually. People like Michael C. Ford, they don't have this literary business of extremely wealthy. I mean, they have the movie business. People don't give a fuck about poetry, really. A bunch of hippies do. The people that are the real artists, people like Dennis Hopper, Dean Stockwell, they give a fuck about poetry. Wallace Berman, whoever the fuck it is. In LA, now it is a poetry center, definitely. But, Bukowski, there's a lot of things to like in there, I think it's but if you're trying to sound smart, like I was, it's not the hardest thing in the world to read. That's why people fucking read it. But I've kind of relaxed my standards a lot. And I don't know. These guys, there are things, like I said, Bukowski, he's a working class person. He has a lot of good things to say. There's a lot of things about lifestyle that I copy from Bukowski. Just like, you know, the way if you watch this documentary, there's a couple great. That's one thing about Bukowski is there's actually footage of him. There's a lot of readings because he was popular. They made movies about him and shit. You watch Barfly with Mickey Rourke. You know who Jean-Luc Godard said his favorite American poet was? He said the only American poet was Charles Bukowski. That's fucking Godard. I mean, maybe he's a toxic bro. He's a toxic film. Maybe he'd be a Nolan bro if he was alive now. If he didn't commit assisted suicide. The baddest fucking way to die. The most intellectual way to die. I'm just gonna voluntarily kill myself. I just cannot handle it. I cannot handle it anymore. Just fucking kill me. I'm gonna get a medically assisted procedure. I'm not even gonna swallow a bunch of pills or jump in front of a train. I'm gonna go to a hospital and Soylent Green my ass. I hope he was watching a movie, or maybe not. I don't know. I hope he was reading Charles Bukowski, his favorite American poet. Who knows if that's true or not? I don't know. That's like Apocrypha. But, they're all on kind of a lot of the people I know who love Charles Bukowski are women. In fact, the biggest fans of Charles Bukowski I ever met were women. Because it's emotional, And it's accurate, maybe to some degree, I don't know. Or it's melodramatic or something, I don't know. There's some realness in there. And, it's like, it's kind of like William Carlos Williams or something. And, okay, this might be controversial. Maybe I can't say this. But don't act like... And maybe Eileen Myles gets tagged with this. But there are definite sensibility kind of overlaps between Eileen Myles and Charles Bukowski. And they were both on Black Sparrow Press. There's a kind of... there's sex, and having sex with women and drinking and kind of thin, plain-spoken, whatever poetry, column poetry. So, Ashley says having Bukowski is a green flag to me. I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't know if I'd say it's a green flag. I think having, maybe having an Alice Notley book would be a huge green flag to me. But a Charles Bukowski book, it'd be like, okay. But do you have anything a little deeper? See, that's why I don't want to talk about it a lot. Because it's like, he's good. But he's just part of, a pantheon of people like Michael C. Ford. And I think he would consider himself in that way. He would consider himself another poet in sort of gang of poets. Which is honestly how poetry world exists. Is just like, we're all... just part of this ritual and whatever. Publishing each other in magazines. Who else? Oh, yeah, Neely Cherkovsky died recently. He got a New York Times obituary. He was Charles Bukowski's biographer, and when he was younger, he was sort of like a squire or something to Charles Bukowski. So if you read Neely Cherkovsky, there's... he was a gay man. He's an interesting kind of San Francisco figure. He wrote a lot of really good biographies of poets. That's kind of one of my favorite subgenres is kind of biographies of poets and lives of the poets, right? The Joel Oppenheimer biography, so Neil Cherkovsky wrote a lot of... He's like Johnson or something. Boswell's Life of Johnson. It's like he's written a number of poetry biographies. Whitman's Wild Children. I think he did I've got his Lawrence Ferlinghetti biography. He wrote a biography of Lawrence Ferlinghetti. It's like his poetry. It's sort of William Carlos Williams. It's very easy to read. It's not, but it's there's a lot of strength in it. There's a lot of beauty in it. It's heightened language, but it's also, it feels, I don't know, there was some kind of 20th century thing about boxing everything up and making it look American that I think started with kind of William Carlos Williams or something, and those people in the early 20th century, Carl Sandburg, whatever. But Emily Dickinson maybe before that. But as far as like box small poems, but yeah. So what the fuck was I talking about before that? Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Doors. Was there a bigger thing? I don't know. I guess this is just kind of a freewheeling poetry lecture at this point, and we're just riffing on culture, man. All right, Ashley. Thank you for watching. Good night. And so the greater web, these things all connect in a way. It's like if you saw a Bukowski book, it's like seeing Leonard Cohen or something. It's like this person is famous, kind of romantic figure. And the show Californication, I don't know if people ever watched the show Californication with David Duchovny. That was sort of pre-Me Too, but he plays kind of a Bukowski, basically the same fucking character. He's like a sort of famous, hard-drinking writer who gets on all these crazy sexcapades and then writes about it as typewriter or whatever. And he lives in California. He lives in Venice. It's like a porn. It's like Cinemax version of, it's like a sleazy kind of L.A. Ed Hardy T-shirt, Bukowski, Cougar Town era. Duchovny's like this, middle-aged dilf or whatever. So I modeled a lot of my life on the show. I emulated it. It was a role model for me. I wanted to be Hank Moody. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want to be, that was, Bukowski had like the career. If you could live that, if you could like sell a shitload of books and just be everywhere. Because that's the thing, is Bukowski like sold a lot of books. He was the reason why Black Sparrow Books existed, actually. They were able to fund all of these other kind of avant-garde, esoteric. They could publish 10 volumes of Olson and Robert Creeley correspondence in like the most beautiful fucking, paperback editions you've ever seen in your life because of Charles Bukowski books. Because he sold so many books. This guy, John Martin, right, had never published anything, I guess. And he had some other store. He sold his store and he invested all his money in publishing Charles Bukowski, and somehow it paid off. He bet on the fucking right horse. And so it actually is responsible for publishing all of this other incredible stuff. I mean, Black Sparrow, for my money, I would say, it is the best. It's the crown jewel, I would say, of all of the, even City Lights. To be honest, I think Black Sparrow books they're just better quality than City Lights books. I know City Lights is like the icon or whatever, and the pocket editions and all this, but, oh my God. To me, Black Sparrow takes #1 spot all time. This is my niche publishing TikTok. Oh, I need some water. I don't know. I'm worried. I've got like kind of an inner ear thing. I really need to go to the doctor. Or the dentist rather, but I'm afraid. Has anybody ever had a root canal? I've let this problem go on way too long. I could have got it handled 6 months ago. Say something to get you shit canned. Okay. I'm not really that kind of streamer. This is why I don't have people watching, because I'm not like an internet troll who's going to like say, things that are like, how can I get you shit canned? What's the most controversial fucking opinion I can think of? Oh God, there goes my whole viewership. I just need a snack for 2 seconds. I got a video DJ for 1 second. The people who I see streaming on TikTok literally are not doing anything. You know, they're not talking, they're not giving information. I guess people don't want to see yapping. I mean, okay, maybe I'll put on this live stream from a long time ago. Oh my god, I was thinking about what it was like when I was live streaming back in my apartment. You know, Jupiter and Saturn were in a player Aquarius. I was being escorted by the gods at this point. Do I look a lot younger there, or do I look the same? I guess I probably look a year or two younger, but maybe I'm a little thinner. I'm just worried that I'm aging rapidly because of all the stress and all my teeth have decayed rapidly over the last year. I've been able to maintain kind of my diet and my health status quo for a long time, but I lost my discipline over the last year. I'm in a food desert. I saw a map on, I think on TikTok, of New York City zones. They had zones 1 through 5, different colors based on how much of a food desert you live in, and I was like, I think a 3 or a 4 out of, and so it's been, it's been a tough year, but it's been okay. And I don't know. Okay, so I want to talk about the vault. I watched this video today about Prince's vault, and it was kind of inspirational. Apparently, Prince was constantly recording music. He would write and record a song every day, and he worked with women exclusively in the studio because he found that there was less friction. He wanted to work fast. The conventional studio wisdom, right? Every fucking recording studio I've ever been in, this is why I hate recording studios, is they take forever to set the microphones and set everything up and get everything sounding. And they said Prince hated that. They said he expected you to get a bass sound. The first thing he would do, he would come in, he would set up drum machines. He expected you to get the sound good then. It's like, that's how I do shit. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I get compliments pretty regularly about how good the sound is at Red Room. And to be honest, there's a good sound system there, and that's most of it. But, like, I also think I do a fucking good job as a sound guy, actually, because I just use my fucking ears. I didn't go to fucking school for it. I'm not worried. I mean, I'm thinking about EQ and whatever, highs and lows and mids and shit like that, but, like, if it sounds good, it is good. And to be honest, people need it to hit a little bit. When people put their tracks on, they want that shit to be hitting. And if it's hitting for you, then it's hitting for everybody. And that's your job as this fucking sound guy, is to make that shit sizzle. And it's not that hard. The thing is, people get shit confused. They think a clean signal or something is like what they want. And it's like a lot of Prince's stuff and a lot of the greatest records ever made, they sound like fucking toys. It's like that's part of what makes it cool. That's part of what gives it a fingerprint and what marks it in time. You can tell Prince's shit was made in 1984 or whatever. You can tell this record was made in 1958 because of the technology. They lean into that shit, right? One of the problems, I was just watching all these Mark Fisher lectures. I don't know if people watch Mark Fisher, but it's blowing my mind. I mean, this guy is incredible. He really has... I mean, he killed himself. I don't know if he committed assisted suicide, but he killed himself a few years ago. I guess he couldn't handle it. He could see what was coming. This was before the pandemic, he killed himself. But a lot of his videos are incredible about, one of the things people are constantly complaining about is there's nothing to demarcate the eras anymore. You can't tell what a song from 2005 sounds like versus a song from 2008. They're almost indistinguishable. Whereas you can tell a song from 1975 versus a song from 1983 or 88 or something. Like, there is a clear, and I do think it's because the technology was accelerating through generations of better and better and more kind of photorealistic. And we did hit kind of an HD peak kind of photorealism in the early 2000s. So things are not dated by that kind of calcification or whatever stratification of the technology as much anymore. Everything has kind of peaked at 1080p for the most part. I mean, you can get more than that, but I think video games might be a little more dated. Maybe not music as much. And I do think there's truth to the idea that, like, if you listen to, for instance, like the pop music of the 60s and music before World War II, it's like vastly different. It's like entirely different. You know, there's big bands with horns and shit and Bing Crosby and shit like that in the 30s. And then in the 60s, it's like the Beatles and fucking whatever. You know, Sly and the Family Stone or Jimi Hendrix or something. And it's like, now music just sounds like that for the most part. I mean, Taylor Swift pretty much just sounds like that, really. You know, it's like there aren't really. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still innovative music out there. There still is innovative music happening, but uh, there has been like kind of a cultural just like uh, constipation. You know, it's just like that boomer kind of legacy just like looms over fucking everything now. And so Prince, right, I think is worth studying. You know, definitely. Like, he is a fucking genius. And so he would go in, and the idea was he was constantly in flow state, right? He wants his bass, and he's playing his bass, and he's recording that. And then he goes to the next thing. They said he was always fucking working. He was always playing music. They said he'd have a sound check that would last 4 hours. I think that's how, you know, most people, their sound check, oh, they just want to go get it over and then go do the other thing. It's like, no, he loved to play music. He lived to fucking play music. He was always playing music. I think that's how he made himself. You know, like, nothing against him, but like, he was like, you know, this small little dude. He was like 5'4" or something. Not that I'm, you know, I'm the least height, whatever, prejudiced, you know, person, but unlike some people out there. Um, but I think you know, he found music. I don't know his story, but just like, you know, and I'm not saying that's why, but like, I think he just made his whole identity and just like he did it. He was a master, right? It was his vibration. It was his like fucking Sufi like fucking whirl or whatever of just like the fucking harmony of the spheres and just like how he created this. I mean, if you watch Prince on stage, it's unbelievable the shit that he does. You know, he's spinning, he's in the splits, he's bouncing on his ass, then he comes up from the splits and he's jumping off the stage, everything is twirling, they're hitting these fucking, it's like, yeah, because he fucking played all the goddamn, he was always creating, right? I think that's a lesson to all of us, right? And that's something I used to be better at. I used to be writing constantly. I mean, I try to do that, you know, in my own kind of lazy minimal effort way. Like, I try to make something out of everything, whether by making the vlogs, right, by writing poetry everywhere. That's why my process kind of goes with me everywhere, by filming anywhere, by doing this, literally streaming. I mean, being with other people is an opportunity, not necessarily to work. I mean, it's not necessarily about being in productivity insanity that our culture wants us to be in, but um, it's about being in flow state. And there is actually, I think, kind of, you know, it's like a car. It has to, you got to drive it or it falls apart. This is the lesson I learned last week. Is like I tried to take a couple days off and I got in trouble. You know, I ate the wrong snack and I didn't brush my teeth 15 times. And so I think I've got an infection now. And so now I'm really going to have to go to the doctor. I mean, my neck is starting to get stiff. I don't feel that bad, but anyway, it's like a car. You got to drive it, you know? And, right, I mean, Ashley is good at this. She's constantly, you know, she's got her one sentence novel. She's got this other novel. She's got her poetry. She's got her fucking TikToks. You know, she's got her endless text chain to me. She's constantly making memes and always, you know, it's like, yeah, that's what we should be doing. We should be, you know, for me, I've always had a barrier to recording music because there was this attitude like the studio is a serious thing. It takes time. You got to know all this shit. You got to go to some school. You got to learn about EQ and blah blah blah, the loudness wars. And it's like, no, just that's all bullshit. You know, it was so refreshing. Not that Prince doesn't believe in that, but he doesn't want to be hampered by that. He doesn't want you to slow him down. He's got engineers, he's got people, they're going to get it done. They're going to handle it. Not that everybody has that, but it's like just make it sound cool. It's that fucking simple. People want shit that's going to make them dance, going to bring them up, going to move them. Literally. It's like that's your job as a fucking musician, as an artist. And so do whatever you have to do to get that going. And so, you know, the performance is just a little piece of that. You know, Prince is only on stage for 2 or 3 hours or whatever. His fucking sound check is 4 hours. They said he would jam, and this is, you're constantly hearing stories about Prince, right, where he's like, oh, he just dropped into some fucking bar and played for 4 hours after his gig. We were sitting in, you know, I heard somebody say they were sitting in some club in New York on the Lower East Side, and fucking Prince came in with his band and started playing. For like, he did two hours or something. It's like, because he loves to fucking play. He's rich, he's successful. And so anyway, his approach to recording, I find very contemporary. It's almost like now we're in this kind of bedroom artist era, or maybe we're exiting that. I don't know. Maybe we've lived through it, but, you know, he played all the instruments on his fucking albums and shit, right? He played everything. He was a prodigy and a you know, talented guy in that way. And he's a great writer. You feel the poetry in his music. You feel color. You feel juice. You feel life in his fucking music. They're like these amazing paintings. And the sound has that, those enzymes and that kind of, you know, the juices in the action. You know, he understands that it's like, it's got to have that wetness. It's got to have that sensual pleasure. You know, and he makes these incredible, you know, synesthesia kind of poems of like, you know, When Doves Cry. There's no bass on it. They said he made that song in one, that was just one of, you know, he would record a song every fucking day. And that was just one of them, right? Occasionally he'd come up with a song like fucking When Doves Cry or fucking 1999 or whatever. It's like, that's a lesson to everybody, you know? Just like, get on your fucking, yo, what's up, man? I'm talking about Prince's vault and how just being in flow state constantly all the time. I saw a TikTok video about it. So he would just fucking record music constantly. And, yeah. So, but he was so, you know, he's got thousands of fucking, he literally has a vault, right? And I think in this era of fucking, yeah, so I turned the comments on. Ashley, I think, went to sleep, so she's not going to be bombarding the comments. So we can have a civilized adult conversation here. If people want to... This guy wants to know how I can get him fired from his job. He's at some Marriott in fucking California. He says there are high-end profile business people, and we can get him fired from his job. This is like a Howard Stern. We need, you know, fucking Marianne from Brooklyn or whoever. Apparently, my friend Joycey's dad is Howard Stern's favorite prank caller. Or I guess she's Ashley's friend, Joycey. Ashley's friend is Howard Stern's favorite. Her dad is some guy from Brooklyn or Long Island or something. Some low life. No, he's not. I'm just kidding. I think he's from the Bronx, actually. But, yeah, we got to figure out how to get this guy fired. So, anyway, Prince literally has a fucking vault, right, at Paisley Park. You know, Prince didn't live in New York. He lived in fucking the middle of Minnesota. Somehow he gets all these women to come to fucking Minnesota and have sex with him. I don't even know how. What's a sour show? Is that some kind of... Should I Google that? Yeah, we need to come up with some kind of subversive thing that this guy can do. Or some kind of heinous thing to say on the internet that's just going to get him canceled from his job. Some kind of anti... So anyway, yeah, so Prince had this fucking vault at Paisley Park, right? He built this fucking... I mean, he's kind of like a cult leader, I guess. I mean, fucking... you know, he's got his own fucking compound and shit, like all the great ones. And so he had a bed in his studio apparently. He said they built a bed in his fucking studio. See, this is manifestation, right? This is true manifestation. Prince did not let anything fucking hold him back. You know that dude's fucking will was strong. He made this happen. He's got a bed next to his fucking recording studio. And he's, he just rolls out of bed. He's got all women in his recording studio. All hot chicks on everything. Sheila E. And they're all just like, it's like a Robert fucking Palmer video. They're all just doing everything. It's a perfect utopia. It's just all hot women and Prince. And it's a perfect society, making the greatest music ever made. I mean, I love those songs. Ronnie Talk to Russia. Baby, I'm a Star. I Would Die for You. They have a homemade quality. Now that I know that. They don't sound totally perfect like Ted Templeman or something. They don't necessarily sound like Van Halen 1984. They have kind of a graininess. They have kind of a degenerative kind of copied quality, which I think is super cool. That's what identifies them as records and kind of marks them in time. I think Prince was super into fashion. He had the newest shit. He had the newest synthesizers, the newest drum machines, whatever, at least for 1984. He changed his name to a fucking symbol. He was somebody that spoke out against the fucking record industry and shit way before anybody. And how they own you and how you basically have to pay them back and shit. They own his music. There was a reason why he changed his fucking name. It wasn't just like some crazy ego. I mean, I'm sure it was that too. But what a fucking, when I was a kid, that seemed insane. But now it's like, oh my God, that is next level. And that's like, that's like Kim.com or something. That's like, all these .com billionaires try to think of some futuristic way to name their kids. It's like Prince was way the fucking... He's still ahead of them. He had that fucking symbol that his guitar looked like his dick or whatever. He named himself like his own dick symbol. And he got away with it. I mean, women love him. He like created... Well, apparently, okay, I'm deep on Prince talk. Apparently, he copied a lot of shit from Rick James. He was on tour with Rick James... And Rick James said he Mary Jane girls. He started Mary Jane girls. He said Prince wouldn't even talk to him. He did not say hello or anything. They had their little entourage and he said Rick James started Mary Jane girls, and then Prince started Vanity 6 or whatever the fuck it was. He stole Vanity, I guess. Vanity was like Rick James's like protege that he was gonna mold or whatever into like a star. It was Rick James' little project. And then Prince kind of stole her away, I guess. So this is deep. I mean, this is like stale white guy gossip from the 80s or whatever. Steve Lukather. So anyway, but I think this is interesting as artists, right? This vault idea, right? He had a physical place. He'd record his fucking songs, whatever, put them on cassette tapes or whatever the fuck they did, and he'd put them in his vault, which was like a physical place on his property, right? Which was like where he kept all of his fucking masters. He's got thousands of songs. They can be releasing Prince music forever, like fucking Tupac or whatever, right? Like, it's just like he made so much goddamn music. He was in flow state, like, it was good that he made something out of it. He was able to channel that into finished products, and like some of them were fucking cream or whatever, get on top. Occasionally, he struck lightning. He captured lightning in a bottle, Imagine that. I mean, Prince, it's amazing what the guy does with the cowboy chords. The dude can just take G, D, C, E minor and make it into a whole new fucking thing. To me, that's like a mark of, one of the all-time great songwriters. And, so this thing, like, now we live in the cloud, right? Everything is fucking, like, all my archive, my whole thing is contingent on YouTube, basically. That's why I started making fucking 3-hour-long vlogs, because I'm like, YouTube will let me upload literally infinite video. Like, I'm going to warehouse basically my memory and my experience and my life and every goddamn thing that happens to me that I can possibly get and hoard it on my YouTube page in this narcissistic expose for everybody to I don't know. Maybe it doesn't show anything. Maybe there's nothing actually revealed by all of it. Maybe you just watch all of it and it's still an enigma. I mean, do people really know what's going on with Ashley and myself? Or is it just some kind of weird thing that plays out and people are like, Jesus Christ? I mean, last night things kind of blew up, but, I remain unreactive. To me, it's like, it's not going to serve any purpose to get in a confrontation with Ashley in front of everybody. There's no way I can win. And, well, to be honest, I just think it's disrespectful to the other people there. People are paying money to get on stage. They don't want their fucking time to be disrupted by, but she's jumping up on stage when it's not her turn. She's heckling. It's like that that would be unacceptable if anybody did it. And so I'm trying to have the bouncers have her banned permanently. I'm speaking very seriously. I seriously think I could get probably 40% more audience if I could just prevent Ashley from showing up. I think she alienates a lot of people, and she is a super talented artist and writer and a collaborator and definitely, a creative partner. But, I'm pretty good at working with a lot of people. I'd like to work with other people. I'd like to share the creativity with more of the people out there and see what is possible. One of the crimes of this whole thing is that I don't get to spend more time with people that I meet through this, because I love to meet people, and there's so many interesting people that I've met. And yet, I'm sort of in this weird pinballing pattern back and forth between Midwood and Upper West Side, and, I'm being human trafficked as this weird kind of hostage of show business. I work for the mafia. I hope to God I don't end up, and I shouldn't even say it, okay? I don't want to end up like Tommy James and the Shondells. Writing hit songs for mafia publishers, never seeing a dime. It's not going to happen to me, okay? I got to get out of here. I don't know. We got to take this everywhere. We're really meant to be like fucking Davy Crockett. He was expelled from Washington because he voted against Andrew Jackson, and they laughed at him. And so he had to go to Texas, where he was a hero. Because of all those maniacs. Or, I'm learning about history. I don't know if that's true or not. I think TikTok is, I don't know, apparently I'm some kind of Alex Jones, I'm totally mimicking Alex Jones talking points without even knowing it. Are they pulling the rug out from under me? Are they pulling a fast one on me? So Prince is one of the great contemporary poets. I think we can all agree on that. So it's worth talking about his vault. So I want to put all my episodes on tape. I'm trying to figure out how to convert my vlogs to VHS tapes. That's my ultimate fantasy. I would love it if people could get the entire Scenes from a Life, saga on VHS tapes. Like just a box set that's literally like a bookshelf. Like we'll ship it to your house like the Kiss coffin or something. And it's just it's the whole vlogs. Not that, when I started doing vlogs in 2014, I was like very advanced. I've talked about this before. I was very advanced for a geriatric millennial at the time. That was very hip. And now it's like everybody's vlogging. I feel like I'm at some beach that was mine, and now it's like everybody knows about this secret beach. And not that anybody ever watched my vlogs. I guess they were never. Even now, people don't go back and rewatch the early Scenes from Life episodes. I don't know if they've really held up. Part of my aesthetic, and this is something I've been wondering about, is like, maybe you have to be rich to be an artist. Like if you look at, a lot of these famous artists, they all worked for royalty and shit. They were all like part of, whatever, Medici, or they were all financed. Even Shakespeare, was like a court playwright. He was working for the government, actually. And a lot of his material was like shaped to sort of, their issues that they were facing. And, their sensibility, and they were kind of inside jokes with James the First or whatever about being Scottish or whatever the fuck. That's why he wrote the Scottish play, supposedly. I don't know. This is what I heard in my Mossad sponsored textbooks that I read growing up. To quote, uh, but I don't know. So, you know, to some degree, I do think you just have to have like the best technology to make like cutting edge art, right? Like that's one thing that I think Curb Your Enthusiasm does pretty well is you can constantly see them adapting to new technologies. I'm sure once HBO like found out that it was like this cash cow and like this reliable kind of like, I mean, comfort food in a way, but I mean, Larry David has been, he's one of the geniuses of the, he's an icon. He's an avatar of the age. But they're always incorporating new technologies in the show. They go crazy with these fucking, steady cam shots or whatever. Fucking nice. So, I think, I don't know, maybe to some degree you do have to. To me, I tried to go the opposite way. I tried to do having no budget and just use the laziest whatever stock or I don't know, kind of an aesthetic that was anti-aesthetic, but that's an aesthetic too. I guess that's its own kind of branding. Um, a lot of it, to be honest, is not necessarily, like with the chapbooks or like the way I make flyers and stuff. A lot of it is just like, I guess it's an insistence on making something handmade in a world that's like increasingly stock or like Canva or whatever. Not that Canva looks good, but this is like the vault thing, right? Like Prince has a physical vault. If the electricity goes out in the United States, if they kill the grid, Prince's vault is still gonna fucking be there. Not necessarily that they can play the tapes, but like it's not like the cloud. If they zonked the data centers, and well, this is another thing I think with the internet and sort of like the intangibility of the internet is it's not actually intangible. It's all these fucking data centers and shit, right? It's servers fucking everywhere. And they got to build more. There's a reason why I can live stream for fucking infinite hours if I wanted to, or post my vlog that's 4 hours long, or post the open mic every week, which is 4 or 5 hours. Because, like, they're building these fucking data centers everywhere to house the servers because the data is money to them. The more of our data they have, that is the fucking product. But they use huge amounts of electricity, right? And so we're already in this fucking crisis of infrastructure and the bridges, and fucking how are we going to fuel the future? Fossil fuel, whatever, nuclear, solar, wind. There is no answer. The electric car thing is kind of bottoming out, or it's not kind of cracked up to, what they build it as, the super truck or whatever the fuck it is. The Cybertruck is like, unsurprisingly, a, like Carrie or something. It's like a homicidal, possessed car that will kill you because it's so unsafe. And just stupid. I mean, it's just stupid. Another rich person's bad ideas being imposed on us. And so, they're sort of blindly just like, yeah, fucking put data servers. I mean, that's what the Matrix looks like. It just looks like a bunch of fucking data centers everywhere. And it's storm clouds outside because the environment's wrecked. The billionaires crash the environment to kill all the poor people. To cause a population edit. The great edit. We thought it was the pandemic. Maybe that was just the beginning. That was the pre-edit. That was the pre-game. That was just pre-gaming for Armageddon. I don't know. Who will survive the great edit? Who am I going to try to glom onto and beg their mercy? I mean, if the electricity went out now, right, it would be like cataclysmic, wouldn't it? I mean, we would all starve to death probably, right? I mean, we would have no internet. The internet is how we do every fucking thing. People couldn't use their smart refrigerators or whatever the fuck. I couldn't live stream. You know, how would I get the word out? I mean, we do have open mics. I guess if if the power went out, I'd just go to KGB Red Room. Honestly, if there was some kind of I Am Legend Day of Tomorrow or whatever the fuck it is. I mean, I'm 500 miles from Ohio, my family. Everyone I love is 500 miles away from me. So I've been listening to this folk song, 500 miles, 500 miles, and feeling it. And so if there was, theoretically, I'd have to cross 500 miles of, like, Pennsylvania mountains. I mean, theoretically, I guess my scooter gets 11 miles per charge. It takes 6 hours to charge. So that's not really a viable transportation method. Theoretically, if there was some kind of edge of tomorrow, day after tomorrow scenario, how would I get home to my loved ones? I'd have to just go to KGB Bar Red Room. That's my home. That's where I'd have to go. I mean, I don't know what I'd do. If the internet just disappeared all of a sudden, nobody could make any phone calls, we'd all be looking for fucking payphones real fast. There's no landlines any goddamn place. And so what would we do? What would we eat? It's already a food desert. I'm already in a zone 4 food desert. If the fucking power went out, I don't think these people would take mercy on me. I don't know. I would start walking. I would start walking over probably the Verrazano Bridge back to the mainland. I feel like once I got to the mainland, the thing is, you can walk. I could walk to Ohio. It would take some time, but I could do it. If I could just get food. We're approaching springtime. I mean, these are the paranoid scenarios. Does everybody think about this stuff now? I'm sure that we do. Everybody's got a go bag or a fucking some kind of getaway plan, right? I mean, so yeah, I would probably go to KGB Bar Red Room and hopefully all of my people would gather there. We'd figure it out together as a community. What else do we have? All we have is our pathetic little beautiful life of human thriving. You know, I gotta say, in spite of everything, in spite of late capitalism, in spite of, you know, the monetization of everything and just like the death spiral of this country, I think it's acknowledged, right? The empire's ending. We're in the 4th turning of the 6th cycle or whatever the fuck it is, the 3rd cycle. And so, it's beautiful that in spite of the fact that, you know, Richard Lewis is dying on Curb Your Enthusiasm and the president is dying in the Oval Office and, you know, the other one is like gonna have to pawn one of his buildings so he doesn't go to jail, and I don't even pay attention to what Trump says, but apparently he's talking about how he's Christ, and he's like actively talking about how he's Christ now, which, you know, okay. Is he gonna be at WrestleMania? I don't know. Is he gonna make an appearance? I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin stunnering Trump was probably, you know, the peak. I'm trying to manifest that. That's my vision board. That's on my vision board. So anyway, yeah, it's election year, so, you know, Curb has got all the DNC on all the episodes. The fundraiser. Hillary is going to make a cameo. Bill and Hillary. Well, maybe not Bill. Yeah, so in spite of them trying to kill us, they're actively trying to kill us with the food, in the subway. Men are punching women on the street. They are trying to fucking kill us with our wisdom teeth, with our infections in our fucking jaw. My jaw is how I make money, okay? I cannot have what happened to Michael Douglas happen to me, okay? How did they do this to Michael Douglas? Michael Douglas's whole career was his jaw. He was Kirk Douglas's son. They're jaw actors. The jaw is the important thing. It's a symbol of their courage, and Michael Douglas was like my favorite actor, I gotta say, in a lot of ways, as a kid. He did good material. And he had sex. He was horny in all of his fucking movies, and it caught up to him. He was too horny. He ate too much pussy. Okay? Yeah, exactly. And so Michael Douglas, look what happened to him. He got cancer in his jaw because he got so fucking down. He was so fucking down eating Catherine Jones's pussy till he got fucking cancer. What a pimp. What a player. No, I'm just kidding. What a giving man. What a giving husband to do that for his wife and to love her in that way. To give her that pleasure, that selfless. I mean, were they 69ing? She didn't get throat cancer. He's probably got HPV or something because everybody has HPV now. Every hot person I've ever met, they always give me a speech before we have sex about how they have HPV. The hottest women I've ever had sex with, they all give me a speech about how they have HPV. But it's like dormant. It's not a real thing. It's like, it doesn't show up, like they don't have like fucking, anything down there. Like they're healthy. It's, it's not contagious. I wear protection, okay? I practice safe sex. I want to go on the record, okay? When I'm having casual sex, which I love, okay? I'm very pro-casual sex. I know that's sleazy. I know that's why I'm canceled. I know that's why, the woke mob doesn't like me, okay? I'm like Bill Maher. I'm just to the left of Bill Maher, unfortunately. No, I'm way left. I'm way left, baby. I'm the most motherfucking left out here. I'm a socialist, bitch. I'm the communist that they warned you about on Fox News, okay? I'm the communist performance artist that Tucker warned you about, okay? Your tax dollars are going right here, baby. They're going right here to daddy smoking weed and fucking live streaming. Do I identify as misanthropic? I feel like I can't even help it. My whole life, my whole family, it's just a Proctor gene. It's our sense of humor. Is like cranky. Like my grandpa kind of looked like Lloyd Bridges, and he had that kind of Lloyd Bridges motherfucker. He was a sailor. He was in the Navy. And my dad is like, the original definition of the word like cynic or misanthrope, I think, is like, it's like a dog or something. Meaning it's like you kind of live your own, or it's, you're away from society. It's not necessarily about being negative, but I've always been tagged with that as sort of a negative person, cranky. But I'm not, I love people. I have some kind of weird trauma, narcissism, ego that like makes it impossible for me to sustain relationships. But with anybody, well, that's not entirely true. That's not entirely true. That's not really true at all, actually. But I think, to some degree, this is one reason why I bitch about society so much. I do think that we have lived in like a uniquely, maybe not uniquely, but like the last 25 years have been corrupted by corporate control. And so there's a lot to complain about. And it alienates you from people around you because they buy into that stuff. They buy into Barbenheimer and Ryan Gosling and Britney, and, they're invested in Amanda Bynes. They're invested in fucking Jay-Z or Puff Daddy or Beyonce or whatever. It's like, or Taylor, it's like, I memean, we're all kind of invested to various degrees, but there's a lot to complain about. There's a lot that sucks. And somebody, George Carlin was always, before I got into poetry, George Carlin was like a bridge to poetry, right? Because a lot of his stuff is like poems. He nails his language exactly into place. And he's, a lot of his stuff is like found poems or collage poems. He plays a lot with a lot of different forms. And he's very precise. And he's very tuned in to the nuances of our language and stuff. And so he's like cranky Irish guy at heart. And so that's kind of what my family is in a way. And so Dennis Leary, I thought Dennis Leary was fucking hilarious. You know, as far as poetry goes, poetry is, I guess, a misanthropic activity. You know, why I started doing poetry was because I was alone. You know, poetry was originally something that I did in solitude because I thought I was better than everybody. I thought the world didn't fucking understand me, man. Nobody fucking gets me here in Columbus, Ohio. I'm too goddamn smart. I'm obviously way a genius that nobody understands, man. And so I have to write fucking poetry about it because I can't relate to these people I went to fucking Ohio State University with who are all like snipey. I mean, being in the theater department at Ohio State, I was not, it was competitive. It is a little bit hard not being like the obvious like motherfucking heavyweight of something and having to compete with there was this kid who was like the Seth MacFarlane of Ohio State. He had this unbelievable voice. He was tall. He was like gorgeous. You know, it's like, I'm not that guy. He was hilarious. He was super smart. It's like, I have to be this, you know, and, you know, in a weird way, and this is not necessarily my fixation, but I do think height kind of does play into it, probably. You know, like, not that I'm, like, angrier because I'm small or something, but, like, the world does kind of view you that way. And so you kind of become this, like, sarcastic, I don't know, like, commentator on life who's, like, bitter over in the corner, like, oh, these fucking 6-foot assholes, all the women like them, and we're just, like, we're just little, we can't control any of the, you know, hypocrisies of the world. And so we have to endlessly correct it with like, oh, that's, why do people do that? That's wrong. You know, they should change this, you know, the economy or whatever, you know, the way people write poetry, the way people fucking do whatever. More people should, you know, vlog. Oh, wait, now everybody's vlogging. Fuck. Now what do you do to stand out, you know? What was I talking about? There was something. Oh, yeah. So I am proud that in spite of them actively killing us, that we have created this empire of live performances that nobody cares about except for us. But I don't know if that's true. I mean, there's a lot of people that have audience. There's a lot of people that are, you know, this is the future, actually, right? As the legacy media, as Hollywood collapses, that TikTok is, like, actively rooting for. You know, they have a stake in it, but we're going to have a horizontal. That was one of the things that that Mark Fisher guy said that I thought was so spot on. I don't know if you watch his lectures, but he was like, you know, the 21st century has been really hard on musicians. And, like, you know, the Napster Lars Ulrich thing did not, I mean, we knew that it was like an important thing that was happening, but you know, Lars Ulrich was a douchebag and you were not on his side. You were downloading free fucking music. You were downloading one song at a time. I was downloading Tenacious D bootlegs from the HBO series, you know, at fucking 13 kilobytes a second or whatever the fuck it was back in the day. And so I was definitely on Team Napster, Team whatever, fucking Sean William Scott or whatever the fucking guy's name was. Sean Price or Justin Timberlake in the movie. But, you know, they basically zeroed out the commodity, right? So there's nothing to sell anymore other than, you know, we can do live fucking shows, you know. I gotta get edgy. Carlos, yeah. See, that's what I don't want to do. That guy came to the open mic. I'm not edgy. I'm not edgy in that way. I'm not going to, like, you know, say racial slurs or whatever the fuck these people do or do like, public stunts. I'm not that guy. I'm a yapper. I yap about poetry to my niche. I don't even know who fucking, you know, God bless Billy Lamont, I think, has been tuning in from time to time. Thank you guys, whoever is watching. I know that certain people tune in, so I like to throw out a lot of ideas about, you know, what's going on in the scene. I wish more people would fucking, I don't know that much about Carlos, actually, at all. No. He came to the open mic once, and he made fun of everybody else who performed, basically, which I did not think was a very admirable thing to do, actually. But that works on the internet. That's why I don't like, every time I live stream and people start watching me, I have the same conversation where it's like, they want you to be edgy, which means like be an edgelord, sort of right wing, whatever the fuck. And like, that's just not who I am. Count Carl, okay. I'm not going to look it up, okay? I saw the guy, he came to the open mic. I saw what he did. I'm not interested, really. I looked him up a little bit, good for him, but he's a troll. For some reason, people love that on the internet. And I'm not a fucking troll. I'm a misanthrope. And so I'm going to intellectualize about how I'm a misanthrope. Good. It was him being rated G. Well, I'm sure he's a real asshole then. It seems to me like the bigger asshole you are on the internet, the more people like it. And that's why fucking Trump got elected. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not an asshole. And I wish I was. Then I'd probably have shitloads of people watching me. Because I'd be saying dumbass fucking... He's insane. See, the people are behaving for their live stream in a way that's dissociated from reality. And that's not what I'm doing. My work is about reality. It's about... there's something to be said for, like, shifting reality, but I think if you're going to do that, you should be positive. Not necessarily like Mr. Beast or something. I think we do that with the open mic. You're helping people. Now I just sound like a fucking... like I'm gay. I sound like a gay retard. Is that what you want? You want me to say these hateful words? I don't know how to get you fired from your job, man, okay? That's not my job, man, to get you fired from your job, man. Tell them to fuck off. Tell these rich cocksuckers to choke on fucking Vince McMahon's shit. Tell these gay retards to choke on Vince McMahon's trans penis, okay? Is that what you want? Is that what you sick fucking voyeurs on the internet want, okay? That's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to lower myself to your fucking level. I'm a goddamn poet in New York City. We're not like you animals. The internet has empowered weirdos like you and that fucking... Who was that guy at the debate with the red sweater? It's empowered freaks. The thing about the internet is everything that was invisible is visible now. So any kind of crazy theory... There's nothing to disprove it. There's no fact-checking. Just run your fucking mouth and insult people. And yay, aren't you a fucking hero? Yay, good. You're a big fucking man. Aren't you? Just insulting people on the internet. Hiding behind a fucking keyboard. I am living it! I'm sharing my poetry, okay? I'm doing stand-up comedy. You know how hard that is? You know how easy it is to fucking sit there and judge and watch South Park and, aren't Trey and they called it. South Park fucking... The Simpsons predicted it. I don't believe The Simpsons predicted it. I think that is fake news. I do not think The Simpsons... all those, like, pictures of, like, Trump with the orb on The Simpsons, that's not real. It's not real, people. Wake up, sheeple. Alright, I didn't mean to insult you. I'm anti-confrontational. It's getting very heated, okay? The internet is causing the Civil War. I can't even talk to my family because they're Trumpers. And we love them like Jesus would, okay? What happened to Jesus? It's all about intersectionality now, which means you are not a part of it. You have to be a men's rights live streamer. But I think Mark Fisher is good, okay? I promote Mark Fisher. I wish YouTube would, like, fluoridate the search results. Fluoridate the SEO with Mark Fisher and David Berman fucking videos, okay? Get people hooked on the silver Jews. I know they're Jews, okay? I know it's right in their name that they're Jews. And the Jews run everything, right? Is that what you want to hear? I'm just kidding. I don't believe that. The Catholic Church runs everything, okay? They run my life. They're the reason why I have this Christ suffering in my mouth. Because I believe all the bullshit about suffering is good. And self-flagellation, like you're in the fucking Da Vinci Code. Pain, pain, pain. Sexual ecstasy, okay? There's nothing more fucking erotic than a church, okay? I want to fuck in some churches, man. Get some candles. Hell yeah. Let's fucking... You want to get fired? Would that be edgy? Would that be edgy enough for you? What if I live stream me getting fucking waxed in the fucking... I don't even know the names of any of the apps. I don't know the name of a church. I don't know any of the parts. The pulpit. The bully pulpit. It is a bully pulpit, okay? Everybody takes their turn taking a whack at it, okay? First communion, look what they did. Look what they did. This Catholic Church is basically a big sex cult. It's a child molestation, real estate scheme. They're trying to control your behavior. I'm going to get banned from YouTube for saying this. Thank you. I'm so edgy. I got to be an edgelord, apparently, if I want to get ratings. All the sickos on the fucking internet. They just want you to cause havoc. They want you to wreak social havoc. You know, the infrastructure is dead in this country, okay? We have nothing. The bridges are collapsed. Why do I think my interpersonal relationships inevitably combust? Well, you know, to be honest, like, that's a little extreme to say that, but I do wonder how certain people are able to hang in the game. Like, that's why I talk about this wrestling shit. Because it's like all those guys want the same thing. They're all huge egos. They're all kind of jockeying for position. They're trying to get the number one spot. And it's like, how do they stay in it? You know those guys backstage are fucking crying and, you know, pissed off that they didn't get the push or they had to lose to a certain guy or this or that. And so, I mean, part of it, I guess, is like the last 10 years anyway, I've been so like, I've been kind of like cycloptic about like my fucking career in a way that's also really dumb because like I'm not actually smart about how I conduct my career. I just kind of like repetitively just like hit these open mics that like just do not matter really at all, like as if that's gonna do something. So I haven't actually like built anything, but like, you know, like that's what I do. I'm like in the program mindset where it's like Prince. I got to be productive all the time. So it's like everything has to go toward that, you know, even my jobs, right? And so, I mean, I don't know what I expected to happen when I got to New York. I guess I expected to happen to me what happened for Ashley. You know, I expected to come to New York and just like, I don't know, meet all these people, become successful, get a book published and get money and meet famous people and they love me and oh my god, they fucking love my, you know, that's what I expected to happen. But it took me a couple years to even get started, just like even get my ass off the ground with anything real. There's so many things in our society that are working to prevent you from even doing this, right? Just like fucking you know, you got to work at a hotel fucking to pay your bills and shit. And now it's impossible, right? The only people that can be artists are rich people, you know? Maybe that's how it's always been. Maybe that's not anything new, you know? Like, my heroes were these working class people like Ted Berrigan, who went to fucking state schools, state school poets, you know? Because I'm one of them, goddammit. And it is, I don't know, it's like, maybe that is a crutch or something. It's like, but it's also like my material conditions are way different. And I also have personal health issues that kind of kept me from really working a job and fucking, Yeah, $22 an hour. There you go. So I've done it, but I've done everything I could to fucking stay out of the rat race and just try to pursue my art. I mean, so, but also, like, childhood trauma, definitely, like, you know, it probably is like a lie, I think, that our society tell us, but it's like, I thought that I would get famous, I'd be successful in show business, and that was how I would, like, make a living and escape, mundane life or whatever, 9 to 5. And it always felt like that's what I was meant for. Even as a kid, I was a performer in class. People treated me that way. It's like, it's weird that now everybody is like trying to be an influencer and a stand-up comedian and a performer because, as a kid, I felt like special maybe or something. Maybe that's a snowflake thing. And so I got ideas in my head that were confirmed. Maybe it is just like small pond type thing, big fish in small pond, but like when I would do skits or when I would do videos or whatever, be in the play, it was like I would rock the fucking house. I mean, it was clear that like I was pretty something was going on. And so but I also, my dad is a fucking in show business and shit, and so he is very judgmental. I don't know if he looks at himself like a failure or anything, but he's kind of like the quintessential like I don't think he's a failure. I think he's a genius, and an artist. But he's also like very judgmental of show business and critical of this and that. And so it's like and he's sensitive and kind of got that ego shit where that comes with the stage and he was kind of discouraging about being a center of attention or being an egomaniac and things. So I've always had issues about being on stage and shit. And so it's been complicated for me to even pursue what I'm doing. So I don't want anything to get in the way of that in a way. That's like my ultimate one objective in life. It's not going that well, but so it's like, with New York, it's kind of like this weird mythic. It's so bound up in my idea of success. Making it here, being taken seriously as a writer. I don't necessarily that I knew that how the mechanics of how that would work. I just thought I'd come here and figure it out like fucking Bob Dylan or something. Start playing in a basement, and all of a sudden I'm the biggest thing in the world. I don't know. That's what happens when you come to New York. But that's not what happened for me. But in any case, um, you know, performance is like the way that I am able to sort of conduct my life and be a leader and draw people and create social circle or whatever. But I think, to be honest, what ruined a lot of my relationships was more like material issues. It's as stupid as that, like when I was able to have my own apartment and sort of control where I went and who I saw, it was easy for me to have a lot of relationships. It's not necessarily because I'm a bad person or something. When I lived in the Slooge, this brownstone I lived in Park Slope, it was easy to have good relationships with a lot of people because I had low rent. People came into the house. We were friendly. It was only when the financial shit went berserk and they tried to fuck with renovate the house and shit that the relationships got shattered. The Trump era and whatever the effects of social media, I think, is not to blame, but that's the real culprit here. It's like the social media shit creates problems that aren't there and like magnifies whatever ideas. If you see somebody liked a certain thing or somebody's on a bill with something and you're not included, you fucking take that personally and you get pissed about it. It triggers you emotionally. And so that drives wedges into people that really were not there before. It used to be just more of a purely kind of mutually supportive. And so, like, I would say I conduct my social life through, like, my art or whatever, my entertainment or being on stage. But, like, that's not the totality of the problem. Like, my situation as a poet is a little different because I've never really been validated or vindicated in any way. I didn't get an MFA. I've never had an old, like, famous poet fucking vouch for me or anything. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm still just kind of out here you know, doing my thing and trying to fake it till I make it, really. And so I've developed more and more of a sensitivity about that because I put my whole sense of like worth on like my intelligence and like my idea that like I'm a good writer. You know, these were the things that I cling to like as a kid. You know, I could write and perform. I'd write skits, I'd write short stories, I'd write poems, whatever the fuck. I'd perform, however, do skits, voices, film shit, do skits in class, be in plays, whatever. Make short films. And so that has like accrued in value. Now everybody does this. Everybody does this through fucking Instagram or whatever. And, you know, my whole identity is like that I'm going to be good at this. And so to continually see people that like, don't get me wrong, there are some good writers out there, but like, I'm going to talk shit. I don't think Daniel Popick is very good. I'm jealous of his career. There's a lot of people that I'm like, I should be in the fucking Paris Review. I don't think Sam Pink is that good. I don't think Scott McClanahan is that good. I think a lot of the alt-lit stuff is not that good. There's some shit I like. I like Shai Watson. You know, I think Tao Lin is good. You know, to talk about the big stuff. But, you know, I'm certainly not even really in the conversation at all, in a way. You know, I don't, and so, you know, it is frustrating, and probably everybody feels this way. Like when your cup is not full, when you're hungry, you see other people getting fed, you get pissed off about it, you know? And so, you know, coming to New York is a reality check. It's hard to hang in the game with people that are taller than you and better looking than you and smarter than you and went to better schools than you and are better artists than you and more likable than you. And, oh, fuck, what was I? They're unicorns, right? Some people maybe are unicorns. Maybe they are. You know, there are certain people that I've seen and like maybe that fucking person is a unicorn. You know, that person that's like 6'2", gorgeous, genius, who just like makes all the right moves and just like it happens for them. Maybe they're a fucking unicorn. You know, everybody probably falls in love with them. And that's probably how they get everything they want. I am not totally a unicorn, I don't think. I think I'm like almost a unicorn. I'm like a short unicorn. I'm like a Shetland unicorn. I think you have to be 6'2" to be a unicorn, actually. You have to be 6 foot to be a unicorn. I hate to say it. Or, I don't know. I don't have the intellectual genius it takes, I don't think, to overcome the fact that I'm no Charles Bukowski. I don't have that. Maybe I do. I don't know. Maybe it's in there somewhere, but yeah, so I don't know. I'm not that short, okay? I'm not really short. It's just that they've moved the goalposts, okay? I think this is the kind of thing, it's always been there in our society, but now it's just, like I said, the internet reveals all things. Women were always talking about this. This was always a standard. Society does judge you if you are not, you know, 6 feet fucking tall or whatever. But it's not everything, you know? It's just the internet puts that shit right in your face and defines you by whatever the fuck category you're in. And, yeah, there you go. Exactly. See? This guy said it. Broads like it. Broads like it. Women will like you just because you're 6 feet tall. They feel safe. They just want to be around tall guys. They do not want to be around short kings. They do not want that. You know, the thing is, I never thought about this at all, ever in my life. The term didn't exist, and honestly, I never really perceived it as a disadvantage, actually. I mean, you kind of get a little bit of flack here and there. Like, people would kind of, like, brush you off, or they didn't take you as seriously. And I definitely noticed my tall friends got way more attention from women than I did. And it wasn't because they were more interesting, or better with women, or better looking, or any of that shit. It was just because they were fucking tall. But it didn't feel like it defined everything like now it feels like such a part of the cultural conversation, and it's become acceptable to just, what are you the king of? King of what? Short king. King of what? I ask you. King of not getting laid? King of having women treat you like you're like, you're a pest? Because that's what you are. They will put up with anything, really. Maybe not anything, but like, they will forgive a lot if you're tall. Whereas like a short guy, it doesn't matter what the fuck you say. But the thing is, there's no middle category. You're either 6 feet or you're a short king. And that's insane. It's like, I'm not a short person. I don't feel like it's a disadvantage in any part of my life. You know, it doesn't categorize me in any, it's like people do not refer to me in that way. I would say I'm a middle king. I'm a middle king. But there's no category for that. You're either a short king or you're 5'10". That's what's crazy to me. It's like, people who are 5'9" are short? That's kind of crazy. Like, that's not short. Like like Prince is short. Prince is a short king. That motherfucker is a short king. If you're 5'9", you are not short. I'm sorry. That's like medium. We do live in a time where men have gotten a lot taller somehow. I don't know if that's a nutrition thing, if it's a hormone thing, a steroid thing. But now, like, they want a fucking dude that's 6'5". A woman... I could literally live stream about this forever. Because I think this is one of the things that tech has done to us. Is it finds your trigger, and it just, like, programs that. Like I said, this is not something that I really thought that much about. Maybe it crossed through my mind from time to time. But now it's like the secret is out. They should have just told me. They should have told me before I went through puberty. This should be taught in schools, okay? Before you go through puberty, they should tell every male, look, do everything you fucking possibly can to become 6 feet tall, because you will make more money and 10 times as many women will fuck you. Like, it's insane. My one friend who I went to high school with, we were like peers in high school. And then all of a sudden in college, he's having threesomes and shit all the time. It's like, these chicks are like fawning over him. These chicks who went to Denison. These chicks would not even talk to me. They literally would not even look at me. And don't get me wrong, I'm a creep and like, I'm not good with people. But like, this guy is having threesomes. These chicks are like, they are hitting on him. It's like something is wrong here. Like, women's priorities, they are just so out of whack. That is such a dumb, because tall people, like, they don't live as long. Like, life is harder probably for tall people in most other ways, I would say. It's harder on airplanes. It's hard for me, and I'm a short king. Riding the fucking Chinatown bus, I couldn't even imagine being 6 feet tall and trying to do that. They don't have to. They make money. They're taken seriously as people. They're not just dismissed by fucking half the population because they're not 6 feet tall. So, it's karma. I made fun, I'm a fat chick is what it is, okay? It's the male equivalent of being a fat chick, It's like, if you're 6 feet tall, you're just automatically, like, a potential sexual, like, the woman wants you to be cool. If you're 6 feet tall, she wants it to work. It's like, oh God, he's 6'3", please. It's like, you don't realize this guy's fucking everybody because he's 6'3". Like, he has his pick of anybody. It just kills me. Because I see beautiful women that are like 5'4", with these guys that are like 6'2". I'm like, that woman will never date me. And I'm like, I have everything. I don't have a job or money, but I have everything else. So I'm not tall, I don't have a job or money or an apartment, but I have everything else. And I do think that it's slightly generational. I think because it's become like a meme, now it's like a requirement. I think with the apps, it's like it's like part of the requirement. I mean, you have to be tall, or else it's just like, I'm gonna try to find a guy who I like who's tall too. You know. I know somebody was telling me the other day they went on a date with a guy, and the way they qualified it was like that. They were like, he was 6 feet tall. You know, he seemed totally normal. He seemed cool. It seemed like a good date. He was 6 feet tall. He had his own place. You know, blah blah blah. And she was telling me about the date. And it was like this guy on YouTube like films like the cockroaches in his apartment. His apartment is like full of cockroaches, and so he like live streams like the cockroaches and him like spraying the cockroaches and shit. So he's like some kind of freak, you know. He's a psycho probably, and you know, but he's 6 feet tall, so he probably gets all kind of women who fucking will give him a try and be like, oh, it's kind of interesting that he sprays these bugs and shit, but they should tell all prepubescent boys, do everything in your power you can possibly do to be 6 feet tall. Because if you don't get that tall, then you're going to have to work for every fucking sexual experience you ever have. I mean, I have worked my ass off. I have worked my ass off to have every sexual experience I've ever had. Okay, it has always been, and I'm obviously a delightful, like completely not toxic. I don't know. If women watch this, they would probably be like horrified. I've wanted to get that out of my system for a long time because it's constant. Like I said, it's constantly like tweaking me. I'm walking down the street. I'm seeing these women that are just like, they're all with these guys that are just like finance bros, chads. And it's been that way my whole time I've been in New York. You know what I mean? Yeah, JD Power and Associates. I'm sure JD Power was 6'5". He's like Bill Praski, you know? I mean, no, you know, I don't have anything against tall people at all, actually. You know? The thing that I hear now is like short guys have yeah, we got Kiwi Mountain, we got all the legends. Hell yeah, thank you guys for watching. The short kings have like angry energy. We just don't like their energy. It's not that they're short, it's just they're so angry. It's like, yeah, we're angry because you don't fuck us. You all fucking jump on this 6-foot dumbass piece of meat's dick. You all jump on Baptista's dick. You know, what about the intellectual poet, Al Pacino's 5'6", Woody Allen, Prince, Dustin Hoffman. I'm taller than all of them by far. I never conceive of myself as a short person until this discourse. Put it right in my fucking face. So, okay. Is there anything else? I mean, what else should we talk about? I probably should log off pretty soon, but thank you guys. Man, all my dudes are here. Kiwi Mountain, Adam S. He wants me to go edgier. Kiwi Mountain, do you agree? How can we get this guy fired from his job? Danzig is 5'1". See, there you go. Danzig is 5'1". How many times do you think that guy has heard in his life? Jesus Christ, I thought you'd be taller. That's like crazy. I mean, that explains a lot. That's why he's super jacked and yells about everything. You know, it's just weird that your physical reality defines that much. It's like a body thing, right? It's like, oh, I hate my body. Short kings I mean, a lot of comedians are short kings because you're just like, man, this motherfucker is trapped. Like, I mean, thank God. I mean, I'm, yeah. Oh, okay, 5'3". Yeah, I didn't think Danzig was that short. But I don't think it used to be because I've noticed older women think I'm a lot hotter than like people my age do. Maybe that's just because they're old, but like, I have like boomer women like refer to me as like, oh, he's handsome. I don't think millennials don't care about that. They want a big, ugly hunk of shit. They want to fuck like a huge fur ball. They want to fuck Johnny Sins or George the Animal Steel. They all want to fuck Shrek and George the Animal Steel. They want a big, smelly mask. That's testosterone, right? We're in a testosterone crisis. Apparently the Y chromosome is vanishing because of the estrogen in the food. So if you have any testosterone at all, women will just like, they smell your pheromones. They want your masculinity to balance their divine femininity. And for you to be able to pick them up while you fucking raw dog them or whatever. They want you to do that move where you can like pick them up off the ground and like fuck them while you're like... I mean, I can do it. I can do it. It's just women wouldn't trust me. You know, I can do that move. Believe me, I'm stronger than I look. I can pick you up and do that fucking move that guys do. That, you know, like, I know you'd rather have this 6-foot guy do it, but I can do it. Believe me, I can do it. I can pick you up off the ground. We can do all kinds of stuff. It's just they think, this guy's not totally solid here. I gotta fuck some, you know, ogre. Hey, it's late night, everybody, okay? We're getting real here. No jaw or chin line. See, they're awful, aren't they? They're just... It's the 4B movement. No, I love women. This is why it's disappointing to me. Because I was under the misconception. I thought they weren't as shallow as we are. And I was fucking wrong. I was so wrong. It's superficial, you know? It is. I mean, I'm not saying that they are, you know... I get it. If the shit hits the fan, you think that this long string bean Robert Creeley looking motherfucker, they all want to fuck Robert Creeley, okay? Every woman has got like a Robert Creeley thing. All the poets of that generation have a... They all want to fuck like the jolly... You know, these guys are tall and skinny. It's gross. It's gross. They look like, you know... I'm not going to do a Holocaust joke, but they look like they, you know, they look like... My edgelord fans, they look like concentration camp. They're thin, they're tall. Look at this. All right, I'm not going to harp on this. I've made my point. It's a moot. It doesn't, the more, all women here is, this guy is a whiny complainer. I'm going to go fuck, you know, Pete Davidson. Yeah, exactly. The more like Cro-Mag. You got to have that Cro-Mag. Just grab them and... But also, you got to be in therapy. I don't know. I love women. Why are you afraid of me? Why won't you talk to me? Why are you scared of me? I just want to be friends. I just want to watch Barbie with you. I just want to watch Curb with you. No, I mean... No, I'm not... Okay, to get back to the question about why all my personal relationships blow up, I actually probably would not say that's true. If it is, it's always some dumb thing about, like... It's either, like, a girl thing, somebody is... You know, that only happened once. Or, like, being in a band with somebody. You know, usually it's, like... The Slooge was unique because I was in a band with people that were friends with people in this, like, collaborative commune, and we all lived together. So this whole thing was connected. So once, like, those relationships started to fracture, it was like all my friends were involved, you know? So it's not necessarily like I have a history of this, but as I've gotten older and more desperately trying to claw my way to the top, and I don't know, with the open mic, I kind of sensed that was my opportunity, or that was an opportunity. You know, it is frustrating not getting booked on stuff or getting, yeah, I definitely would never do that. That's absolutely retarded. See, the thing is, like, I absolutely am totally comfortable with my height. The only thing that sucks about it is that women don't like it. That's not my problem. I love my body. I love my size. I do not want to be taller at all. There's nothing about it that I would prefer, actually, except the way that other people judge you. Which I have noticed, you know, because people dismiss you, you know. As a cameraman, I could never be a cameraman doing the fashion stuff because I wasn't tall enough. You know, the models are all 6 feet tall. They need a fucking guy up there. I was the creep who could kind of hide in the corner and film B-roll, in those hard to reach places, like I am in real life, standing on the wall observing everything, rather than I don't know. I definitely have trauma from childhood with women. I feel rejection from women like acutely because of my Freudian issues. And so but I love women and I respect women and I do try to do everything I can to like fucking encourage their art, and I think I do a good job. Yeah, exactly, Aiden S. In the future, we'll all be 6 feet tall. We're all 6 feet online. They don't know how tall I am right now. If I didn't bitch about it for half the live stream, nobody would know. The thing is, I want to bitch about it so much so that when people see me in real life, they'll be like, oh, you're taller than I thought you'd be. We thought you were going to be short. You're all right. The thing is, I could see the look of disappointment on literally every woman I went on a Tinder date with. It was like I went on so many fucking online dates that, like, literally none of these women like me. It's like, I get it. My personality, it's probably telegraphing that, like, I want to have sex, maybe. But it really just felt like they were dismissing me just, like, by rote or something. It was just like, that guy was cool and everything, but, like, he was kind of small. Like, I don't know. That's just become more important, I feel like. I do feel like it's always been important, but it's like it's become like a self-fulfilling thing because the internet talks about it so much. And it's like socially acceptable to slander people for not being 6 feet tall. Like, oh yeah, Short King, keep fucking living your shitty life. Not getting laid, Short King. Have fun in your little domain as the king of fucking jacking off to fucking Pornhub. And having women fucking reject you in absolutely savage ways. You know how many times I've been rejected? Women can't even face one rejection. I've been rejected thousands of times. It's like, you would not necessarily guess that. I maybe. Women don't understand is the reason why. You can't, like, logically explain it, but it's just not acceptable. It's like, you should be 6 feet tall. It's just you should be. You should be that tall. Like, why aren't you? Like, you should have tried harder to be that tall, you fucking loser. Now we're all going to go fucking have babies with this guy, with Pete Davidson. All the hottest women on earth are going to go fuck this one, like, mildly talented kind of ogre-looking dude. My most brutal rejection story? I mean, they're all... most brutal. I mean, I've definitely had women like yell stuff at me, laugh in my face, across the street, I don't know if I can remember most brutal. Like, they're all hilarious. The thing is, later you laugh about all of it. That's the weird part. Is like we're so scared to be rejected by women. And yet later, it's like the funniest fucking thing in the world. It's like, holy shit. The thing is, they are trained to reject you. They're trained to say no. So trying to fucking talk to a woman especially since Me Too. I mean, I was doing this way before that. And even then, it was like, it's socially acceptable for them to be as mean as possible if they want to be. Which, like, it's already hard enough to, like, get the guts to go talk to somebody you're attracted to and try to make that cool. It's like a fucking psychic magic trick that you have to, like, pull on yourself to, like, figure out how to do that. Like, oh, I'm insanely attracted to this woman, but, like, I'm going to totally act like I don't care at all and be smooth and not be afraid or weird or anything. It shouldn't be that hard. But, I mean, there was one time, I didn't necessarily get rejected per se, but kind of my trademark is I would get into these long sets with women at a bar, like standing at a bar. One time at Blind Barber on Avenue B over there was this girl who was like, I don't know, some kind of rockabilly chick. And we started having a long conversation, and it was super intense. I would get into super intense, like, interactions with people. Like, eye to eye, your lips are, like, close. I mean, it was like, I was, like, this close to this chick for probably half an hour or 45 minutes, like, trying to, like, you know, escalate in a shrewd, consensual way. It's all consensual, people. It's all consensual. Everything I ever did was consensual, okay? You have to, that's a part of it. But, like, I was on this no fap thing, right? Because part of it was like, the idea was you're supposed to do no fap because you're only, if you're really a warrior, it's like you get the woman to fucking make you come. You have to have that motivation. You can't fap like a fucking beta sigma cuck. You have to build up the semen in your balls. And they fucking sense that. And then you just like, you're so like horny. And so I was really fucking horny. I'm can't, sorry for being so explicit, but I got blue balls like intense a couple times that summer. There was this Republican chick I dated. I met this Republican chick at Grandview Cafe on Grandview Avenue, and yeah, no fap. So I no fapped. I don't know. It was what it was. It worked at the time, but I got some blue balls. I'll tell you that, because this Republican chick did not want to have sex with me, probably because I was not 6 feet tall. But she was also like a kind of pseudo-Christian. So she was sort of trying to... But anyway, this is really sexist. I apologize, This is, I'm a geriatric millennial, okay? We grew up in a different era. People were just randy and fucking, okay? Girls were going wild. It was not like today where everybody's a fucking, fucking, I'm not even going to disparage. God bless everybody, okay? Nobody's having sex. It's a 4B movement, okay? It's 4B. So anyway, I was at the bar with this chick, and I was no fapping. And so I'm like, we're having this very heavy interaction. And I have an erection. And one thing led to another. And it was, I was trying to build it toward, like, I don't even know, escalating. And she was hooked. I mean, it was really on. And I think my buddy was trying to leave, the guy who I was there with, and he kept kind of trying to get me to leave. And so one thing led to another, and because I was doing no fap, I mean, it was like a nocturnal emission. But it was like, there was a point where it was like, it got erotic, and I was kind of rubbing up against her and whatnot. Or I was rubbing against, like, the stool or something, And I came in my pants. Right in this bar. Right in this fucking bar in the East Village. And that kind of broke the spell of the interaction. After that, I kind of came to my senses. And she was immediately like, wait, what? Where are you going? But she had to act like, she wasn't that into it. And, that's like a protective thing. But it can get you into trouble because now it's like, if you say that, it makes you, yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. I mean, I'm sure I get canceled for that. I'm sure people will go back and watch that later. And, but like I said, it was a no fap, so it was like a lot of fucking ejaculate. I mean, it was all over. And I told my friend out front, I was like, I came in my pants, and he was on the sidewalk laughing. Because he, it was insane. But those were simpler times. I'd probably get arrested now. I'd probably be prosecuted. And not that I pre-canceled. I self-canceled. I canceled in advance because I'm a good person. So I just said, this is wrong. I can't, I still like to have sex with people. I mean, but, it's complicated out there, and, I don't know what people are doing now. In the last days of the Biden administration, I don't know, is Trump going to get reelected? Is Biden going to get? But if Trump gets reelected, I don't know. I do think that like in a certain way, people's sex lives like kicked into a higher gear when Trump was elected. All of a sudden, everybody's having soft parties and their kinks. You know, there's no, you know, everybody's shit was out there. Everybody was getting into BDSM and shit. Everybody's ethically polyamorous all of a sudden. You know, I don't know. I've been ethically monogamous for most of my 30s in one variation or another. Celibate during the pandemic, like a lot of us. Maybe just me. But it's supposed to be fun, god damn it. I mean, it's not fun for people who are victims and shit. I understand that, but I do think that there is like a programmatic thing designed to separate us as genders and sort of dislodge that unity, that solidarity, and like prevent people from having kids, prevent women from respecting men as partners, actually. We're all fucking short kings in one way or another. I mean, how many people, how many men have it all now, right? How many men are 6 feet tall with the job, with the personality, who want one woman? You know, if you had all that shit, like the 6'7", 8" rule, right? 6 feet tall, 7-figure salary, 8-inch penis. I've also heard 666 rule. That's a little more humane. 6 feet tall, 6-figure salary, 6-inch penis. That's a little more doable. But these chicks are size queens. They want to have it all. They've been told they can have it all. They deserve it all. What the fuck did they do? They just deserve it because the rest of us have to battle to the death to get anything ever. But, how, you know, if I was 6 feet tall with a 7-figure salary and an 8-inch penis, why the fuck would I settle down with you? I'd be out having sex with every single person on fucking Hinge because that is what's happening. You know, the guys who are 6 feet tall with a 7-inch fucking salary and a huge dick, they're all having threesomes and shit all the time with whoever they want. The rest of us are jacking off into a fucking tissue like Phil Leotardo. I'm just kidding. It's just an act. This is just my material, okay? This is not the... It's like Howard Stern, right? This is not who I am at home. This is just an act I put on for my fans and the community. Yeah, they appreciate the short kings. I cannot wait. When is it going to be in? When are we going to... Hey, ladies, fuck a 5'8" dude. Hey, let's have a threesome with this fucking medium king. Open mic host. What do you say? Let's double fucking blowjob this guy, because he's never experienced that in his life. Let's give him something that he'll cherish. You know how fucking happy you would make somebody if you had a threesome with them? They would love you. That would be the greatest thing that ever happened to them. You can give them that gift. Why give it to a fucking Chad? Why keep giving the Chad the fucking double blowjob? Or that blowjob thing where the woman is like on the bed and they're both on the, they're like laying on the bed on top of each other. Why give that to the 6-foot guy? Give it to the guy who's never tasted that, who's never had that. You know? It'll be appreciated. You know? That is radical love. That is progressive politics, okay? You want to be woke? You want to be fucking woke? I know all you women out there want to be fucking sensitive and woke and shit. You're all caring people. You want to do the right thing. Fucking have a threesome with me. And, oh God, is this... I'm sorry. To my loyal fans, I was on drugs when I recorded this. I didn't know what I was saying. I was delirious from my pain medication, like Vito. What did he say about his meds? I'm off that now. My medication made me gay, but I'm off that now. He was catching, not pitching. All right, maybe we'll go back to the memory motel. I will do 3 hours, okay? I'm gonna go because you guys are so great. I turned the comments on just for my people, for the community. We're building community of toxic bro. It's late night. We can do our Tim out. and just get real about sex. This is Night Calls. We're getting real about sex here, people. We're talking about our fucking. It's the greatest, it's all we have. You know, maybe that's what my podcast should be. Just true life stories of fucking from my life. That's what Charles Bukowski is, right? That's like, yeah, I normally turn it off because Ashley, right? We all know. You guys all know the recurring character of my life, Ashley. I'm sure she's gonna be horrified when she watches this. It's an act. It's like Howard Stern, Ashley. He has to say this stuff on the radio. It's not who he is. Daddy's not really like that, okay? This is not who Daddy is, okay? This is just gets ratings, okay? This is what they want to hear. They want to hear about, male fucking frustration and, tales of adventure in the pre-Weinstein cock blocking, the great blockening, the great, the culture has been trained to hate us over the last 7 years because of Trump. Everything that he was gave them license to just, hate us. That's how it feels, definitely. Maybe I'm just too sensitive and maybe, the people I know that are real alphas just turn the blinders on and just live their life as normal. You can't stop those fucking people. Trying to do the right thing will get you fucking killed. It'll get you into all the trouble in the world. Because they look at it's an admission of guilt. They think, oh, this guy must be guilty. He's trying to fucking, there's something about him that's weak and apologetic. He should just be alpha at all costs, and double down on the fucking, that's what the ethically polyamorous dudes were doing. It was either like you're a kink, you're into some kind of kink queer thing, or you're like some 6-foot Chad in a relationship with your girlfriend at the bar, picking up women to be the third. That was like a meme. Who was doing this? How many dudes were able to get their girlfriends to do this? Where they go to a bar regularly. This is like the swinging of the 2020s. Is oh, me and my fucking chick go out and find a partner at the bar. And how do you set that up? You have to be 6 feet tall. If you even suggested that if you weren't 6 feet tall, the woman would just be like, you're disgusting. Do you not love me? You want to fuck somebody else in front of me? How dare you? If you're 6 feet tall, it's I don't know. They let you get away with anything. I don't know. But I'm sure that's not true. 6-foot guys get rejected too. I'm sure that it happens. But for some reason, women just will fuck a guy who looks like a scarecrow if he's 6'4". It's you really? That guy looks like he's Stretch Armstrong. He's been fucking, pulled on the fucking torture rack. He's like fucking, he's deluded or so. I don't know. I'm harping on this. Well, since we got into it, I've been thinking about this and working on this material for a long time, so I want to unload my height tirade. Because it's something that I deal with every day. It's like a disability, okay? It's basically a fucking disability for me. I would be taken much more seriously as an artist and as a person, I think. Especially in New York, and especially now, they can get whatever they want. In poetry, everybody's 6'2". It's kind of fucked up, actually. How do they not see that bias? And it's there was an op-ed in the New York Times about how tall people use more resources. I don't think it's a popular subject of conversation because I'm sure women don't want to hear it. They probably just think, fuck short kings. Let them die. Let them die out. There's a reason why we don't fuck them. We don't want any more of them. We don't want to make any more of those. I'm not going to, how did Ethan Hawke get Uma Thurman? That's what I want to know. How did he figure that out? I think it was just the 90s. That would not be possible now. I don't think it would happen now. The men have lost too much power in society. We can't, we are all lacking, in one way or the other. So, I don't know. You just gotta be Prince, you know? Would Prince make it now? Or would they just be like, this guy's a fucking short king? He sucks. Keep good, great. Keep doing your music, man. We're gonna go listen to Taylor Swift, who's 6'2" or whatever. That's part of her like being the queen alien. The queen bitch. The queen of the hive. She's a unicorn. Right? That's part of being a unicorn. But here we are, the subterraneans, the bottom feeders, the mud skippers, just fucking living on algae and fucking other people's shit. Hosting open mics. Trying to hustle your friends for a 2-drink minimum. So why do my relationships explode? You know, honestly, I think a lot of it has to do with circumstance and logistics of just like living situation. You know, a lot of friends I meet in college, you know, I made friends in college, but it's like I had to move away after a year, you know, or they'd move to a different town, you know? So it was like, okay, there goes that friend. Anybody I knew who I was friends with from Columbus, Ohio, lived in New York, they all moved back basically before the pandemic. Unicron. Yeah, you're down with the sickness. Or what? You're a freak on a leash. I would say you're a freak on a leash more than a unicorn. I just roasted you, man. Do you like that? Should I be on Fuck Tony? Or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, so what the hell was I just saying? Yeah, we're bottom feeders. We're scraping by. You know, Bukowski, whatever happened to the underdog? Rooting for the underdog. What the fuck ever happened to that? This country is just falling apart. There's no narrative anymore. There's no heartwarming, feel-good stories of, you know, rags to riches. You know, there's no rags to riches anymore. Everybody's just in rags. It's just rich. There's riches to riches. Riches to more riches. The rich people to rich people pipeline. Rags to fucking living on the street. Rags to fucking, you know, ear infection. Inner ear infection because you fucking haven't been able to treat your dentist cavity. Working in a fucking Marriott trying to get fired. Being a men's rights streamer at 3 a.m. to fucking 3 people. Hell yeah. Building community. Online. For Zuckerberg. For fucking Google. For the Alphabet company or whatever the fuck it is. Giving it away for free. Giving it the fuck away for free. But I don't know. I don't actually necessarily know that I do have bad relationships. That's just like, I mean, smoking weed doesn't help sometimes because it's a lot harder to stay in contact with people, and you just, especially coupled with social media, it's just like emotional turmoil all the time. You're paranoid, or you draw conclusions about certain things, or you react, you weird people out. You know, yeah, I would say that that's like circumstantial probably more than anything. It's almost like if you're climbing a mountain. It's just like nobody, you know, you stay with the people who keep climbing with you, you know? Like right now, it's like Ashley, you know, it's not necessarily that I'm not friends with people that I was friends with before. You know, my living circumstances are just so weird, and I have no financial agency whatsoever in my life. So it's like, it's hard for me to go back home. The pandemic, you know, a lot of my friends were my friends before I got in. You know, one reason why I don't have a lot of friendships is because I keep getting in these codependent relationships, which I don't want to be in. You know, it's like, I would like to just be out with people and be social and be a part of a social scene. But it's like the women that dominate me just sort of insist on, keeping an eye on whoever the fuck I interact with, which drives me insane. But it's financial, a lot of it, I can't afford my freedom, so I can't afford to have friends. I'm married to my career, and if you get in my way, I will fuck you out of existence, okay? It's kill or be killed in New York, in the fucking concrete jungle, in the fucking hard scrabble world of the 5 points open mic fucking scene, okay? We are vying for the championship gold in the ladder match of our fucking competitive show fucking business. And I'm losing. I'm being dragged down. Yeah. Austin or Seattle. I've been to Austin. I mean, God, there's no way you could go to Austin now. It's about 20 years too late. Like, what am I? I'm gonna Joe Rogan my ass down there. I don't have the money. Maybe if I had fucking Rogan money, or Elon Musk money, I would not move to fucking Austin, Texas. I think people think Austin is like the cultural antithesis of like woke, basically. And so it's like a safe space for edgelords. I am woke. I'm part of the woke. I'm a woke tard, okay? I have sacrificed myself to the gods of DEI and all of it, okay? I want to serve and pay the karmic debt, okay? It's not easy, okay? Ancestral retribution is a real bitch. This is not what I thought was going to happen. I thought, white male privilege, yes, I'll make it. I'll make it straight to the top. I'll take my white male privilege and, yeah! Just fucking, this will be a rocket straight to just fucking abusing people, using my power, abusing my power, gatekeeping, being the arbiter, lo and behold, here we are. Decades later, literal decades later, and I'm eating fucking rustic Italian vegetable soup out of a fucking can, okay? That's who I am. And you're nothing. I'd like to see anybody else, and then you die. And then you fucking die, okay? How about that? Sound and fury, okay? But we made a difference in some people's lives. I know I made a difference in Kiwi Mountain's life, in Adam S.'s life, and Ben Callahan's life, and Ashley's life. At least tonight, sort of, in a totally insignificant way. We could not get this poor guy fired from his job. Do you have access to like some kind of loud music system? Maybe you could put on Wayne Newton. You want to get fired? Put on Donka Shane super loud. Or Mamba number 5 or something. I don't know. How do you want to go down? Put on Danzig. Put on Ain't No Goddamn Son of a Bitch. That's right. See? I mean, yeah. That's what makes it really complicated, because when I came back to the city, I really came to play and to try to succeed. And I don't know. I am super sensitive about literary stuff. I just feel like, but I feel like an anomaly in that scene. And so, no call, no show, I think is the best way to go. Fuck them. You don't owe them anything. And literally, like, I support it 1,000%. No call, no show, every time, every fucking time. Fuck them. Just get your last paycheck. You don't owe them a goddamn thing. But yeah, I don't know. If I had even gotten, maybe it is just a bucket with a hole in it. You know, maybe it is an endless hunger that you can never fill. But you know, I'd like to believe that if I had, even if I had a little of a stability in a, which I could work for. I mean, there's no reason why I couldn't make some kind of way into like being some kind of adjunct or community college professor or something. You know, it's just like it's purely antisocial, like you said, misanthropic or something that I can't really enter that system. Or you know, I was naive enough to try to make it the old-fashioned way, just in the real world. I didn't realize that that was like going to sort of cease to exist, at least in literature. You know, like it's people don't really read outside of, or uh I don't know why people like the writing that they like, but it seems like there literacy is becoming a more specialized trait, and it is like a class thing. It belongs to, at least they treat it that way. With poetry, it's like they treat it like it belongs to people with a specialized education who paid a lot of money for it. I mean, Ashley was telling me the other day it's $79,000 a year to go to Columbia, and that's not even including room and board. That's insane. Like, uh, you're $180,000 in debt for 2 years, and that's not including living expenses in New York City. Like, there's not a whole lot of poor people that are going to be doing that. You know, it's class exclusionary. You know, it's sifting people out beforehand, and so that's what we're up against. You know, that's what we've been up against for the last 15 years. It's just all nepo babies, whatever, rich people. You got to be rich to even like try. You know, it's not like you make it just because you're rich. There's tons of rich people and famous people, kids that like aren't, that don't make it too. You know, it's like, but it's just like it's so hard circumstantially to even try. I mean, that's something that Mark Fisher guy was talking about. He was just like, you know, something like punk is not even possible now in London because it's too expensive. You know, it's like you could easily say the same thing about New York. I mean, people make it work anyhow. There's all kinds of amazing grassroots stuff, but it is frustrating that it doesn't seem like it necessarily adds up to, you know, like a bigger thing. As I don't know, maybe it does for some people, but uh, just out here struggling to be heard or to feel like you're even to just establish like that this is real and that you're doing this. You know, it does feel kind of frustrating to just be like an open mic poet or a local kind of you know, participant, you know, and not be, you know, part of, you know, it just feels like with literature especially, people just sort of buy entree into those echelons of being taken seriously or being eligible even for something like the Paris Review or the New Yorker or whatever the fuck it is. It's like if you go to Iowa, if you go to fucking, you know, if you go to Harvard, if you go to Yale, if you go to Columbia, if you go to these name places, it's like that's all anybody fucking, and there's social networks that are exclusionary that you're buying into, really. And New York, you know, is supposed to be a place where you can sort of hustle your way into that. You know, it's supposed to be a place for street hustlers, people like Basquiat, right? He just fucking sold Andy Warhol his fucking postcard, you know, just like a guy on Soho today would, you know, just moving his art on the street, you know. You could still do that, I guess, but the street artists are just so dog shit now. I hate the Persian poet or whoever that guy is who's too many humans, not enough souls. Just so trite. There's so much trite graffiti. I mean, graffiti has just been annihilated as far as its like edge and its cultural significance in a certain way. It's just kind of safe and state sanctioned. It's like skateboarding, you know. It's just like it's become like an old guy thing, or it's become the establishment. You know, let's build a skate park and you know whatever fucking new community. Not that skateboarding isn't dope as hell, but all right. It's been about 3 hours. It's getting late. My neck is tightening up. Hopefully, I live through this. But I'm working the next 2 days. It sucks so bad. I hate work. You should quit your job tomorrow. I encourage it. I'm actively encouraging you on the internet to quit your job. 1,000%. Thank you guys for watching. Just you know, even though I'm a piece of shit short king. Oh God, did I even talk about anything today? I guess we talked about everything. We talked about sex. That's the important stuff. And I hope you guys are having sex, and I hope everybody's consensual and positive and coming away from it a better person than they were, because we need each other now more than ever in the island of lost toys and the dark web. Thank you for watching my dark web conspiracy uh, dispatch. And do I have anything coming up? Really? Not really. I mean, I have to do this work the next couple days, and I have like the next couple weeks kind of free. So I'm gonna probably try to get my teeth fixed. I'm not like scared, but it's been a long time since I've been to the dentist, and the thing that I'm worried about is like I don't have a dentist, so I don't know who is gonna be working on my teeth, and so you know. There are some bad dentists out there. Like, I would not be apprehensive about it if I trusted the person who was going to do it. And so, the only reason I haven't really done it yet is because it's like, I don't know where I'm going to go. But it's one of those, I don't know, it's just something you got to face. Sometimes you got to face, you know, like the wrestlers do. Like Shawn Michaels or fucking Steve Austin. He was dropped on his head by Owen Hart. You know? That wasn't fun. That's why Vince McMahon killed him. No, I don't believe that. But pain is just the flip to getting a blowjob. Really. It's the same. Yeah, I'll look up Count Carl. Maybe I'll be red-pilled or I'll be Carl-pilled. I'll be influenced. Next time you see me, I'll be, you know, doing some kind of illegal mob activity in, you know, a public place to all my thousands of my army of I mean, Carl's got like an army of people. How do people do that on the internet? That's what I'd like to know. I mean, I've been live streaming for a while. I have 3 knuckleheads. No, I'm just kidding. I have a lot of amazing people that watch. But who are these guys that got like thousands of people that are just like, oh my God, this is Carl. Carl's amazing. What the fuck is so amazing about Carl? What the fuck is he doing? I just don't get it because I work my ass off. Very provocative shit in public. Okay. I mean, I worked my ass off to try to be interesting on this. And I don't know how those guys do it. How the fuck do they get thousands of people to watch? People like a cheap thrill. Okay. So I gotta be subversive in public and a cheap thrill. I don't know if I have any of those. Fuck. I gotta think of something, I guess. How can I exploit myself for a cheap thrill? Wrestling. Wrestling was like my gimmick. But it didn't really, we didn't get that many clicks. Vice was originally going to do a story on Brooklyn Backyard Wrestling, and they pussied out. All right, go catch up with Carl. We kick Carl's ass, all right? My fucking Peacenik haiku live stream is we're the anti-Carl, okay? We don't do provocative shit. We are introspective and ruminating and pontificating and being pretentious as fuck. Okay? And educating micro niches of dedicated viewers with our toxic spew. All right. It's the greatest city in the world, everybody. Don't you fucking forget it. Even though we're in the metaverse and everything is leveled out, even fucking hillbillies in Missouri can have a greater platform than a fucking New York fucking entertainment show business god like fucking frankly fucking fabulous. It's still New York, baby. It's still brick and mortar, and this is the concentrated power, and we are still broadcasting to God with a greater fucking light than anybody. And someday we're gonna break through, god damn it. Someday people are gonna see. Someday the audience is gonna get fucking wise. And listen. And listen, god damn it. Alright, well thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Ta-ta. Alright, well we'll be back on soon. Go to the art.